Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. I hope everybody's having a good evening so far. Obviously, the weather is changing a lot right now with the winter storm ahead that's about to be impacting the Midwest and the Central Plains. There are now blizzard warnings in effect in Iowa. This is being classified as the potential for a once-in-a-decade type of weather event across the Iowa area with blizzard conditions expected. And again, this is going to be a pretty big event. That's the easiest way to put it at this point. Across much of the Midwest and yeah. This is going to be a pretty big event. But during this live stream, we're going to basically be going over a Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. That's going to be mainly what this stream is going to be for. So if you have any questions, feel free to plop those in the chat. That's the main thing I'll be doing during this live stream. We'll go over some of the information like the watches and warnings, the severe weather that's coming up in the Southern Plains and as well as in the Southeast. And also today's live stream is brought to you by Radar Omega. You can download it with the top link in the description below. It's on iOS and Android. So if you want to check that out, it's an all-in-one weather app that we'll be using throughout this live stream. For example, by the way, this is the HRR model. They have all sorts of computer models on the on Radar Omega. Notice this as we go into like tomorrow morning, for example. There's gonna be a lot of light to moderate snowfall stretching from Iowa back into the Midwest, including northern Illinois and southern and central Wisconsin, back into parts of western Michigan. One of the biggest things that we'll be watching for tomorrow is the freezing line. So where that freezing line exactly is, just south of Chicago, is the big question mark. Will we be dealing with, you know, a rain snow mix? Where exactly will that be? That's the biggest question mark tomorrow. But I think Chicago, my forecast has gone up a little bit. I think Chicago will see between 6 to 12 inches of snow. So that's the latest for that area. But I'm going to be going through some questions. Specifically, if you have any questions about the winter storm, let me know in the chat. And we'll also be going through the severe weather as well. Hey, thank you, Gotcha, by the way, for the $1.99. Appreciate it. Thank you. I won't be really talking about next week's storm that much in this live stream. I'll save that for a forecast that's coming up. Probably Saturday. Chicago could get included into a blizzard warning. It's entirely possible. The blizzard warning's in effect for much of Iowa right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Chicago area was included in that. The wind gusts are going to be around 30 to 40 miles per hour. There'll be heavy snowfall, so basically everything that you need for there to be a blizzard warning is going to be there. I think it's more just a confidence thing at this point. Because again, that rain and snow line tomorrow morning is going to be pretty crucial. If we see that leak into Chicago, it's probably a lower chance, but if we just see pure snow all day long, we're probably going to see at least some sort of blizzard warnings in Northwest Illinois. That's kind of what I'm thinking at this point. It's a good question, though. So if you're curious about snowfall accumulation specifically across like the Midwest, I will show you in a second. But if you're wondering about like Indiana and Ohio, the only areas that I think will see any snow or even any sort of ice accumulation would be on the northern side of the state. So back near Fort Wayne, South Bend, Toledo. Those are the only areas that I think will see any wintry precipitation. Going into like maybe late Friday night, we might get some snow flurries, and that could even include areas like Kentucky, which, by the way, Kentucky has a threat of severe weather tomorrow. Kind of a crazy thing to think about when we have this big storm. Because again, you know, this is a very dynamic storm, right? This is going to be a quote-unquote bomb cyclone. And what that basically means is that the pressure right now is about 997 with this low pressure system. So it's going to go from 997 right now down to about 970 tomorrow in millibars. That's about a minus 27 millibar drop over 24 hours. And that would basically mean that this is going to be classified as a, again, quote unquote bomb cyclone. And with that being said, it doesn't mean like anything, you know, I mean, it's a pretty rare event to begin with. A bomb cyclone over land is something that doesn't happen very often. It's much more common in the Pacific Ocean, but having this over land is very rare to say the least. And one of the biggest things that we'll be looking at is that sharp divide, that big sharp divide of cold air advection and warm air advection. And with more of that cold air advection on the backside, that will lead to some more flurries and light snow perhaps on the backside of this. And North Texas actually has a chance of that tomorrow. So, or like early tomorrow morning, between like 1 and 5 a.m., there will be a few snow flurries out there on the backside of this low. The temperatures today in DFW are 71. The wind chills when you wake up tomorrow will be in the teens and single digits. That's crazy. So that's what we're basically talking about in terms of, you know, basically the nature of this storm. It's obviously pretty intense. Thank you, Nick, for the $5 super chat. What's your opinion on Hammond, Indiana? Let me use the search key on Radar Omega because I can actually find where these places are much easier. Yeah, Hammond is an interesting spot. I mean, you're right on the line, basically, of it being a winter storm and a winter weather event. So the current expectation is 3 to 6 inches of snow. I would put that specific spot, since it's right near the Chicago area. I mean, I'm thinking if you're right here in the Hammond area, so right on the border, I think there's a good likelihood that you'll see between probably 4 to 8. I think that's reasonable for that area, because you're going to be right on the cusp there of that rain and snow line. And if you see purely snow like all day, which I think is a lower chance, but it's possible, I think there will be a better odds that you will end up seeing at least 4 to 8 inches of snow, but you could actually get up close to 10 inches. It's entirely possible. And the Chicago area could also see more snow than 10 inches of snow. Let me go to the snowfall totals here that they're estimating. And so here are the snowfall. This is the snowfall accumulation map. I don't have a key for this. I know Radar Omega's Twitter page has one, so I'll pull that up in a few minutes, but I'll go through the little magnifying glass here, and you can see right now the HRR model, excuse me, it's putting it around like 3 to 6, maybe 4 to 8 inches. I would honestly say for that little quadrant there, I'll give it 4 to 8 inches. That's where I think that's the snow range that I think that'll happen near Portage and Hammond. If you're near Chicago, I still think 6 to 12 inches is reasonable, even though the HRR model is showing, you know, a little bit less snowfall than that. It's showing like, well, I mean, it's showing 6, so that's in the range, but I think it's gonna be a large range. If we see a bit more of a transition into rain and snow, like a mixture, I think will be around 6 inches. If it's purely snow all day, I think it's going to be closer to 12 inches. But further to the north, this will be the jackpot in Wisconsin between Green Bay and Milwaukee. I think a lot of these areas will get between 6 to 12 inches of snow as well. Some isolated spots could pick up 10 to 15. Like on the higher side of that, so closer to like, you know, 13 to 15 inches. I think there's a better shot there between Green Bay and Milwaukee of seeing a bit more of a jackpot sort of total. And the same thing with the northern side here of Michigan. I think the northern side of Michigan will also be very interesting. I think a lot of snow is going to be falling there in particular. I think this area can easily get 10 to 15 inches of snow. We might even see upwards of 18 to 20 in a couple isolated locations. With just how potent this storm is going to be and how organized it's going to be, I think northern Michigan's going to be in for a ride tomorrow into Saturday morning. Muskogee, Oklahoma. Are you in the, yeah, you're in the winter weather advisories. So tonight there is going to be a chance for upwards of an inch of snow. That's basically it. There might be some slippery roadways tomorrow, maybe a little bit of some, maybe like a glazing of ice, but I don't think we'll really have that. Let's check out the future radar here. Let's go back to that. And we'll go to about, we're going to go all the way back here. 9 o'clock. We'll go through the timing. By the way, timestamp for reference all the way up here at the top of your screen. So for tomorrow morning, I believe why they issued this winter weather advisory is mainly because we're going to see a little bit of snow on the backside of this low pressure system. So that might fall near the Tulsa area. I'd also be mindful the rain that's going to be out in front of this. There's going to be a lot of cold air very quickly. And the quicker we get that, that means that it could refreeze on the roadways. So that's really the main reason why they have the winter weather advisories up. So be mindful, check the local weather in the morning and see if there's been any ice reported or anything like that before going on your commute and whatnot. But more than anything, I would be more prepared for, you know, maybe upwards of an inch of snow from the backside of this low pressure system. That's what I would be looking at more than anything. Thank you, Nick, again for the $5 super chat. Can't wait to see you hit 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, I mean, guys, we're getting close to 100,000 subscribers. It's kind of hard to believe, but we are currently 11,300 away. That is unbelievable. You know, like 2 months ago, I swore we were at like 60,000, I think, or something. Maybe 3 months ago. I do appreciate everybody's support, by the way. It means the world to me, and I'm glad I can help everybody out with the weather. And as I mentioned before, if you're just tuning in, I am a little bit under the weather. I do have a cold, so I'm talking slower than usual. I'm not going to do a full-blown forecast like I usually do in these live streams. I'm going to answer questions. So if you have any questions about anything, let me know in the chat. If you're asking questions, preferably, unless it's about snowfall accumulation, preferably make it a bit more generalized. So, you know, like a region or something like that. And I'll discuss it more in detail so everybody can hear. We'll also be talking about severe weather, by the way, because tonight there is a threat of severe weather. Let me go to that real quick, and then we'll go back into the snow discussion. Pretty interesting threat tonight. We have an enhanced risk of severe weather. You do that. There we go. We do have an enhanced risk of severe weather for areas in Shreveport, Louisiana, back into northeast Texas, just south and west of Little Rock near Interstate 30, and a slight risk of severe weather outside of that. But the interesting thing about tonight is that there is actually a 10% hatched tornado risk. So tomorrow we do not have a hatched tornado risk anymore. Even though I think we could still see tornadoes tomorrow, I think it's likely we'll at least see a few. We have a chance for a couple of strong tornadoes tonight in northeast Texas, excuse me, near Texarkana, back through Shreveport, El Dorado, Camden, Hope, and Hot Springs in Arkansas. Those would be the areas to watch for that threat. We also could see an isolated tornado or two outside of this as well. So have a tornado action plan in place tonight. Have multiple ways to receive alerts. And if you want to track these storms in real time, I highly recommend getting the Radar Omega app. You can download it with the top link in the description. It's on iOS and Android. It's an all-in-one weather app that you can get on the iOS and Android store. But that's the risk for tonight. And then tomorrow's threat of severe weather has actually been downgraded, which is good news. There's not going to be a whole lot of moisture, not nearly as much moisture as forecasted initially. And overall, the instability is going to be lower than before. But the main concern right now will be this area here for the potential for damaging winds up to 75 miles per hour. And then the slight risk of severe weather is where we're also watching for some damaging winds, perhaps a few tornadoes as well, but no longer a 10% tornado risk. It's a 5%. And that's what it looks like here. So that's what we're looking at for tomorrow. Peter Guy, thank you for the $2 super chat. Bolingbrook, Illinois snow forecast. I will go to that in a second. Weather Channel is calling for 15 inches of snow in the northern suburbs of Chicago. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. It purely will depend on that rain-snow transition and if it happens. If it doesn't happen, we're talking, 10 to 15 inches of snow pretty easily. If we do see that transition and it's just a hair too warm, that makes all the difference. I mean, the track of this low pressure system is so key. If it tracks anywhere closer to Chicago, it's a no-go for the 15 inches or whatever, but it's entirely possible otherwise. You can see that in real time here. I'm trying to find a good scan of this. This is, let's go to 20. We'll go to 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. 4, go back a little bit. Let's go to 1. This is 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and the HRR model has that rain and snow line right over Chicago. And if we see that transition into rain, that's going to basically get rid of that entire potential of us seeing 15 inches of snow. But I do think there's at least a high likelihood of between 6 to 12 inches of snow, no matter what happens tomorrow. I think we'll at least get 6 inches. If you're a little bit further south of Chicago, the snowfall totals drop substantially just due to the placement of this low pressure system. All right, let me go to Bolingbrook here. I also have to look this one up. Yeah, Bolingbrook is the same thing. So what I just said applies to you. Again, 6 to 12 inches is my forecast for Chicago now. Yesterday it was 4 to 8, by the way, so it's gone up a little bit if you're looking forward to snow. But yeah, that's my forecast at this point. All right, I didn't miss any more super chats. Let's go to the live chat. And again, I hope everybody's having a good evening so far. Again, we'll be answering a lot of questions throughout this live stream. Storms are beginning to fire up, by the way, across Arkansas. So there's a chance we start to get some tornadic activity at some point here pretty soon. If it happens within the next hour, we will be covering it. That was not my main focus on this live stream, but it is a possibility. I'm just going to show you the live radar real quick. But you can see the thunderstorms firing up. We already have some storms that actually kind of look nasty. Let's just check the velocities really quickly, and I'll go back into the other stuff. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty... I honestly, you know, the amount of rotation that these storms have already, I mean, it doesn't look super evident initially, but if you just look at this, I mean, the winds are definitely in the place where they should be initially with these cells. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we get multiple tornadoes tonight, but the other thing is that we kind of have to look at is the overall nature of these storms and how they're placed. A lot of these are semi-discrete or linear, and in that case, the severe weather threat would be a bit lower. Already firing up near Paris, Texas, too. These storms were actually not expected to fire up this far down to the south until like midnight tonight, so they're firing up a bit early. But if you're anywhere over in Arkansas, be mindful. Again, there is a chance for a few tornadoes tonight at the bare minimum. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a tornado watch at some point soon. Let me see what the Storm Prediction Center is saying. I don't know if they've said anything about this yet, so let me just check. I don't know if there's a mesoscale discussion. Maybe I have to go to their website because it's not showing up on here. One moment, please. Just want to double check this to make sure we're not... Okay, so there's no mesoscale discussions right now, but again, it's possible that we get a tornado watch in the next couple hours, purely due to the fact, again, there's a lot of rotation that is already happening with these storms. Even though it's not very evident near the surface, there's going to definitely be some upper level rotation. I mean, the low level jet is cranking today. So... yeah, it could get pretty ugly in Arkansas tonight. I'm just going to say that. Again, make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts. Have a tornado action plan in place just in case, but it'll probably get pretty active. I mean, even this storm right here near Odin has a little bit of rotation, even though it's a very tiny little cell. So, stuff to watch for. Again, let's go back closer to the winter talk. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. Could we see a tornado outbreak tonight? It's entirely possible. I think the biggest thing will be just, you know, will these storms stay discreet enough? If they stay discreet enough, it's entirely possible that we see some sort of tornado outbreak. And again, a tornado outbreak does not mean 25 tornadoes or more. It's 6 tornadoes or more within a, I believe, 12-hour period or 24-hour period. So, again, 6 tornadoes or more is definitely doable with this sort of environment. And there's your first severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, near Russellville, quarter-size hail. It's going to be a pretty active night, though. I'm not sure if anybody else will be live tonight for it, but my plans to be live tonight are probably till, like, at latest 9:30 Central. Because I have to wake up early tomorrow. I'm in Iowa. What makes this a once-in-a-decade type of storm? That is a great question. So I do want to kind of break this down a bit more into detail with this entire storm. This is the blizzard warning context, by the way. I'll put it right here. For Iowa specifically, almost the entire state of Iowa is under a blizzard warning. They basically made an additional detail section to this blizzard warning, saying storms of this magnitude are fairly rare, with reoccurrence around once or twice per decade. Travel is not recommended except if absolutely necessary. That again goes for anywhere there in Iowa in the blizzard warnings, especially Friday afternoon into the evening. And I mentioned this earlier, but the main reason why this is a once-in-a-decade type of event is because it's going to be a bomb cyclone over land. Those don't happen very often. A pressure going from 997 down to 970 in 24 hours is just unheard of over land. It's almost like a hurricane. Think of it that way. Whenever you watch hurricanes in the Atlantic Ocean, let's say there's a hurricane right here at 997 millibars. Let's just say we're talking about Ian or something like that. Ian rapidly strengthened, and it was basically, it was rapid intensification. It went up like 24 millibars in 24 hours. Those sort of things that happen don't usually happen over land, and they happen very often in the Pacific Ocean, by the way. And so tonight, the low pressure system's over here. It's actually a little bit further south, but it's basically over here in the Central Plains, right? And it's right about 997, 996 millibars. Once this goes into the Midwest at the same time tomorrow, it's going to be about 970 millibars. I mean, that's crazy. That's pretty crazy to say the least. So that's what we're basically talking about with this. That's why it's a once-in-a-decade type of event. Obviously, these happen a little bit more often than once a decade. I would at least say it happens maybe 3 times ish a decade, but you know, for one particular area, this does not happen, you know, every single year or whatever. Seeing a low pressure system go from this to this in 24 hours is just insane. And not even just the pressure, we're talking about like the precipitation as well. There's gonna be a lot of wind behind this, very cold air behind this, which, by the way, all of Iowa will be in the wind chill department of -30 to -45 degrees Saturday and Sunday. It is going to be downright dangerously cold in Iowa. So a lot of cold air advection with this as well. That's going to lead to very cold air, and as well as high winds, which are going to lead to blizzard conditions, and that's why travel's not recommended. There's just so many things that are going on with this event. And also, the other thing we need to watch for on the very, let me go back to, let's go to 12 o'clock. Notice this. You see this rain here that's falling like in Quincy, for example, or back north of Springfield in these winter weather advisories. There is a chance that once the cold air advection plows in behind this low pressure system, which it's going to be a quick change, that rain could actually freeze into some ice. So we could actually get a glazing to 1/10 of an inch of ice in some of these areas on the very far southern side of where this winter storm is going to be. So a lot of interesting details that are going to be going into this winter storm tomorrow. And I can tell you straight out that this is, again, going to be probably one of the biggest winter storms of 2024. That's basically what this will probably be. And we haven't had much activity up until this month. It's been very quiet in December. We're really ramping up in January. And even after this, by the way, we don't have any big storms that are going to be on the horizon, like winter storms that are going to dump over 1 foot of snow in a large area. Anytime between like now and at least a week and a half from now, the only things that would be like, you know, 1 foot of snow or greater would be lake effect snow events that would be happening in like Western New York. And that is a possibility, by the way. It's likely. We already have winter weather advisories and winter storm watches in effect over there. So that's the detailed response. And I can never do that in a regular video forecast. There just would not be enough time. Should I wear a tie to work? Wear a tie to work? I don't understand the context of that question. Yeah, lake effect snow is happening in Michigan as well. Look at this on the backside of this low pressure system. This is I'll do a little loop here. This is Saturday at 9 in the morning. Again, the timestamp is at the top of your screen up here. And this is at 9 a.m. Notice the snow on the backside of this low pressure system. This is all going to be lake effect snow. This will be going on almost all day Saturday and probably all the way through Sunday. And this will lead to a lot more snowfall, because what this basically does is that we have strong northerly winds over the market area in the Michigan Peninsula and northern Wisconsin, and strong northerly winds over warm water into cold air is going to lead to lake effect snow. And the same thing down here near Milwaukee and Chicago. We're going to have the same sort of story here. A westerly wind, and actually beginning with a northwesterly wind, that's going to lead the basically, you know, it's going to create lake effect snow across parts of western and northern Michigan, leading to additional snowfall. Let me see if I can pull it up on, I'll pull it up on here in a second, but let me see what I can pull up here for the snowfall accumulation from this. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to plop those in the chat. We'll be answering a bunch of those throughout the live stream. And again, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. But we could see lake effect snow for quite a while. This might be a elongated event. It might not just be a day. It might last like over the span of a couple weeks. I mean, that's how long we'll be having this wind coming out of the northwest and west. There will probably be some, you know, there will be days off that you don't see any, but there will probably be a pretty consistent amount of time. All right, let's go to this. Don't think that's the right screen. I think this is the right one. All right, so this is the European model. So this is going to be going into Saturday at about 1 o'clock. Notice again, some light snow still ongoing. Notice the west, you're not going to see the westerly wind, but it's basically coming from the northwest and the west. That's going to lead to lake effect snow. This is all the way through Sunday morning. This is Monday morning. And I can't go any further. Let me go to the other run before that. This is Sunday morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday it clears out a little bit. Thursday, maybe a little clipper system, more westerly wind. Friday, Saturday. This is all representing, for the most part, lake effect snow. And if we see this, there's going to be a lot of snow over time. Let's go to the, we'll do a 10-to-1 ratio on this. So this is not a forecast, by the way. This is an estimation. This is a pretty solid representation overall, though. I think most areas here will see between 10 to 15 inches. Let me put a better color here, but most areas in like eastern Wisconsin will see between 10 to 15 inches of snow. Back into here, I think it's a pretty high likelihood of 10 to 15 as well. Isolated 1.5 feet of snow is possible. Lower snowfall totals closer to Detroit, where it'll be more rain than anything, with maybe a little bit of an inch or two. But watch this. So keep in mind Grand Rapids at 12 inches and Traverse City at 11. This is Saturday afternoon. This would be from the lake effect snow over the span of about 7 days. So if we see lake effect snow all week, which is still a little bit uncertain, but if we do see that, we would be talking about an additional about 10 to 12 inches of snow over the span of like 7 days. Might not sound like much, or it might sound like a lot initially, because again, we're talking about 12 inches of snow, but it's over the span of 7 days. So if this happens, it would be over a long period of time. So keep that in mind. There will be a low pressure system actually sitting back up here to the north. So this low pressure system that we're going to see tomorrow, let me put a little track on this, but the low pressure system that we're going to see tomorrow will begin here, or it's beginning down in the southern plains. It'll go here. That's where it's going to be about tomorrow afternoon. Then it's going to like circle up here, and that's why we're going to be seeing lake effect snow potentially, because of that northwesterly and westerly wind. And if it lasts long enough, you know, this will be ongoing for quite a while. So that's the whole lake effect snow breakdown. And again, I will have a very detailed forecast on that probably on Sunday is my guess, or Saturday. We'll see. One of the 2 days. How much snow can we expect in Arkansas? Really, you will not see much. The only area that you'll see snow is like Fayetteville or Fort Smith. You might get a coating to an inch. That's if you're lucky. I don't think many. I think it'll be a pretty scattered variety there. Unfortunately, if you're in Arkansas tonight, you have to deal more with the severe weather threat tonight, because we have an enhanced risk of severe weather. This is the threat level. It's mainly for southern and southwestern Arkansas, and this is actually more of a tornado-driven enhanced risk of severe weather. So main concerns tonight will be numerous damaging winds more than anything. In addition to that, isolated large hail and perhaps a few tornadoes, and a couple of those could be strong. And here's that tornado risk for tonight. And again, this will really ramp up, I think, after 10 o'clock Central, and it'll probably go through about 4 to 5 in the morning. So have multiple ways to receive alerts if you're anywhere in Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, any of these areas. Have multiple ways to receive alerts if you're in these areas. Tornado action plan in place for sure, just in case you do get a tornado warning. We already have one severe thunderstorm warning out there, and these storms are firing up a little bit ahead of schedule. At least further down to the south. So I do think the severe weather threat will start to ramp up here pretty soon. If you're in the southeast tomorrow, not nearly as much concern as we had initially, but you should still have multiple ways to receive alerts. Be prepared for severe weather. We have an enhanced risk of severe weather tomorrow as well. It's a much more condensed area, and there's no longer a 10% hatched tornado risk, but I would not rule out maybe there being a small one somewhere tomorrow, maybe near the Florida Panhandle. This is mainly for damaging winds around 60 to 80 miles per hour. And that isolated area there across central and northern Mississippi, western and northwest Alabama, and then the slight risk goes all the way back through Virginia. No problem, Toad. Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. Jane, are you talking about the clock at the top of your screen? I can't enlarge that. I don't know if you're talking about that or the one I have on the time that's in black, which really bad color, by the way, to be using on a dark blue background. I just want to throw that out there. Not a very good designing technique. Idaho is not an area I get asked about much. Let me go to that though here in a second. Let me just go back to this. I'll talk about Idaho briefly. I'm guessing you're talking about the wind chills and the cold air. I won't be able to see your message in chat. It's going too fast, but I'm guessing that's what you mean. Also, thank you, Am, for the $1 super chat. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Let me go back to the chat. All right, for the person that was asking about Idaho, are you wondering about temperatures? Are you wondering about like snow? Let me know in the chat. How cold will it get in Billings, Montana? Let me check my other monitor here. I'll pull up a map and show you in a second. Let's go to this. By the way, these will be the wind chills. I can pull this up for everybody. Let me just do the wind chills and then the temperatures. I'll do it on Radar Omega. And by the way, again, this live stream today is brought to you by Radar Omega. It is an all-in-one weather app. If you want to check it out, the link is at the top of the description down below. Highly recommend it. That's what we've been using throughout this live stream. It has computer models, satellite, radar, everything. Literally, it's an all-in-one radar app. Cannot recommend it enough. I've never tried to look at wind chills before. I don't know if they have wind chills. Well, at least look at temperatures. This is the temperature forecast with plotted numbers. So this will be tomorrow morning. I don't know if this person responded. Let me look. All right, the person that was wondering about Idaho did not respond. Okay, so this is what we're looking at in terms of temperatures tomorrow at 7. That's 6. This is 7. If you're back near Billings, Montana, tomorrow morning is going to be downright frigid. -20 for a temperature. That is not a wind chill. That is a temperature. Let me check the wind chills real quick, because it might even be worse than that. Oh my god, it's gonna be unbearable tomorrow. I don't know how some of you guys get through the winter in Montana. I could never live there with how cold it gets. These are the wind chills, and if anybody's experienced these type of temperatures in the chat, let me know. Or wind chills, I mean. Has anybody ever experienced this type of wind chill before? -46 degrees Fahrenheit. This is tomorrow morning. This is going into Saturday morning. Holy cow. 60 below zero for a wind chill. Like the entire state almost is going to be at least 50 below. I mean, that's just incredible. I could never. I really could never do that. It's just not happening. I can barely get through it being like 30 degrees outside, nonetheless going to sub 50. Chicago does actually get down there too. This is Chicago going into Saturday morning, by the way. 13 plus 24, that is 37. So this is 7 in the morning going into Saturday. This will not be the coldest day, but here's all the Arctic air. It's going to plunge down to the south. So that's all the Arctic air as we go into Friday morning at 7 a.m. again. And then back over near Chicago and Milwaukee, we're going to be still talking about temperatures in the 20s. So again, it's going to get cold. There's no other way to explain it. It's just going to get downright cold. And pipe bursting weather here. Obviously, make sure you're taking the proper precautions there. Protect the 4 Ps: pipes, plants, pets, people. Those 4. It's going to get cold. Let's go into Sunday. I can go to the NAM model. This will go further out. Let me slow down the chat real quick. This is going really fast. And I think I only have 1 mod right now. I could be wrong. Is Shelly here? All right, this model doesn't go far out enough yet. Let's go to the GFS model. And we'll go to 12Z. This will give us a good idea. So here's the temperatures going into... today's date is the 11th, so we're going to look at the 13th and 14th. So 13th is Saturday, 14th is what we're looking for. So this is 6 in the morning going into Sunday. And again, these are actual temperatures. These are not wind chills. The Chicago area will be sub-0 for sure. 10 degrees under 0 back over in central Illinois. And again, all this cold air is going to wrap right around this low pressure system. That's just going to cause a ton of problems. And then let's go into Monday morning. I think Tuesday morning will actually be the overall coldest morning of the entire week. This is Monday morning. Again, notice sub-zero temperatures in a lot of places. Even into Oklahoma will be sub-zero. The coldest temperature of Monday morning will probably go to an area in Montana where it'll be 30 degrees below 0 still. So, again, just crazy weather. Let's go to 120, hour 120. So this is going to be Tuesday morning. So Tuesday morning will be the coldest morning of the week for most of the United States, or at least the central, northern, southern plains, and then back into the Midwest. Those will be the coldest areas on Tuesday, and this will probably be the coldest day of the week overall. Again, these are actual temperatures and not wind chills. We're still talking 20 below 0 near Chicago. So It's still going to be downright frigid, undoubtedly, across the Midwest. And again, bundle up for sure. I don't recommend being outside very much, if at all, for most of these days. Because again, it's going to be pretty dangerous to be outside unless you're bundled up and you don't have any skin exposed, essentially. Let me check out the wind chills real quick, too. Friendly reminder, if you're tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon as well so you're notified with the latest live streams. We go live quite often, so make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. All right, here are the wind chills going into Monday morning. So again, notice 30 to 40 degrees below zero in the Midwest. Again, a once-in-a-decade type of event for like areas like Iowa, where we're going to have blizzard conditions with this bomb cyclone, followed by sub 30 and 40 wind chills on Monday. Tuesday morning, coldest morning of the week by far for much of the United States, not everywhere. Again, wind chills in the 30 to 40 degree range below zero in the Midwest, and even into the southern plains, it'll get pretty cold. This is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'll have another shot of cold air in the Midwest, most likely as we go into Friday and Saturday of next weekend, because this low pressure system is literally going to be circling. Just look at this. Is the low pressure system, by the way, the winter storm that's impacting the Midwest. So this is tomorrow, or actually technically tonight around midnight. This is Saturday morning. Get over the Great Lakes, goes up into Canada, and it comes back for a joyride. It's going to be literally sitting up there. And it'll come right back through the Great Lakes region, and then it should eventually finally move out. But that low pressure system is going to cause some serious problems next week when it comes to temperatures. It's just going to keep it cold, especially in the Midwest. It's going to be hard for those areas to get above freezing anytime soon. That snow, by the way, is going to be on the ground for quite a while. Anywhere you get snow in the Midwest, it's going to be on the ground for quite a bit. So again, just be ready for that if you're in the Midwest. It's not going to be a one-day sort of event. You're going to have that snow on the ground for probably at least a couple weeks. Which is, you know, it's not out of the ordinary. I mean, areas in the Midwest do see that quite often, but just want to throw that out there. Alrighty, let me get some more questions. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to plop them in the chat. No problem, Tony. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you, Dom, for the $1.99. How much snow for Racine, Wisconsin? I don't know if that's how you say it, but we're going to go with it. Your area in particular, you are right on the lake, and right on the lake is going to be a little bit different from inland. And actually, they preface this in the winter storm warning. So notice what they say. This is the National Weather Service. They say 3 to 7 inches of snow right along the lake. If you're a little bit further inland, 6 to 12 inches would be the forecast. If you're north of Milwaukee, specifically north of Milwaukee, you're probably going to see the jackpot totals in Wisconsin. Between Milwaukee and Green Bay, I would expect somewhere in the ballpark of 10 to 15 inches of snow, with an isolated 18-inch. Let me go to the snowfall totals here. So here's what we're looking at. All told, all the way through Saturday morning. Again, the HRR is estimating around 12 to 14 inches. It's a pretty specific range. I would put it between 10 to 15 inches of snow. Inland, again, even further inland will have a better chance of snow. But notice right along the lake. So I don't know where that place went. That's further south right here. So notice right along like the shore here, it's going to be a very sharp divide. Like we go downtown, we're seeing it doesn't actually show these snowfall totals right here, but this right here is like a coating to maybe a couple inches. This right here, like a little bit further inland, maybe a couple miles, maybe a few inches. If you go closer to Mount Pleasant, there'll be a lot more snow on the ground, basically. That's what I'm getting at. And the main reason why is because the lake is much warmer. So that would be the main reason why. Let me zoom back out here. But again, that's the snowfall accumulation. Again, the green area is representing a better likelihood of seeing over 12 inches of snow. All right. Thank you, Vampire, for the $2 super chat. Asking about 44004. Good thing Radar Omega has a search tool, because I would have absolutely no clue where that zip code is if it wasn't for that. So I just want to throw that out there. All right. Ashtabula. This area will not really see any snow on Friday or Saturday. It'll be more of a lake effect snow event as we go into perhaps Sunday. Let me go back to the radar here. I'm not sure if this will go far out enough since the HR only goes out 48 hours, but you'll kind of see this as we go into like Saturday morning, for example, here's a little motion. So this is Saturday morning. Again, low pressure system will be well to your north. The only action that you'll have on Saturday would be these little bands on the outside of this low pressure system. So the low's way up here moving north. You get a couple of these little snow bands perhaps, but it wouldn't be more than anything more like than an inch or so, maybe 2 inches. That'd be basically all you'll get. Lake effect snow is possible once we go into next week, but I don't really think that area will see much of that. I think the main lake effect snow event will be back near Buffalo, which, by the way, the Buffalo Bills are playing this weekend. That actually could make that game very interesting if they still end up playing there, because the wind chills are going to be below 0, I believe, and as well as the snow is going to be falling most likely during that game. So that'll be interesting. I think it's Saturday morning, isn't it? Or that's Saturday at noon or so, or 3 o'clock. I mean, this is Saturday at 12 o'clock, so the snow really won't ramp up until as we go closer to lunchtime and just after that. So I still think that game will be played, but it's going to be pretty snowy. Thank you, Brett, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. Be safe all. I do agree with that, guys. If you are anywhere in the Midwest, make sure that you are taking the proper precautions. Again, travel's not advised. If the National Weather Service is telling you travel's not advised, don't travel. There's really no reason to, unless it's an emergency. And if it is an emergency, take it slow on the roadways. It's going to be very dangerous, especially in Iowa, where blizzard conditions are very likely at this point. Even in the Midwest, we could get some blizzard warnings. So don't be shocked if you wake up tomorrow morning, open your phone up, your alarm's going off, and you hit the snooze button, wake up 10 minutes later, and all of a sudden you see a blizzard warning. Don't be shocked by that. Tomorrow's Friday, by the way. Fun fact. I thought tomorrow was Wednesday, but apparently it's Friday. By the way, thank you, Jody, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate your generosity. We're driving from north central Alabama to mid Missouri tomorrow. What should we expect as far as storms in the south and snow in Missouri, leaving around noon? If you're going to Missouri, you shouldn't run into any problems with snow. So we'll do a little motion here. So this is tonight. This is tomorrow at 12, and I have no clue when you're leaving, but if you're north central Alabama, the main thing you're going to run into is severe storm potential. Main concern is damaging winds tomorrow at this point, but there is still a chance for a few tornadoes, so be mindful of that. But once you get past this band of showers and storms, you're done with it. So once you get into, like, I don't know what route you would even take. I have no clue, but let's say you're going through Memphis. You should be done with that by like lunchtime. If you're going to Mississippi, it should be mostly sunny skies behind this. But if you're going into Missouri, again, a little bit of a different story. I think overall you'll be fine. If you arrive at like after 3 o'clock, all the snow should be done. So I don't think there'll be any issues there in that sort of regard. There might be still some snow on the ground. There might even be a little bit of icing. You never know. I mean, there might even be a little bit of ice on the roadways here, but they're usually treated in Missouri. And that would be like up into Missouri. Like that'd be like south of Jefferson City here, but it should be a very light glazing. But any ice can make problems on the roadways. All right, let me see what other questions we have. Thank you, Emily, for the 99 cents. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ryan, for the $2 super chat. Heavy, wet, or light, fluffy snow in northwest Indiana. It will definitely be wet snow. Reason why? It's going to be right around the freezing mark. So whenever it's, in the ballpark of being, 32 degrees, anywhere above like 25 degrees is usually a wet snow. It's usually fluffy once we get under 20. So northwest Indiana will be purely a wet snow. Because you're going to be, like, I mean, you might be in a rain snow mix, to be honest. I mean, that might be how it goes for you tomorrow. You will at least be in snow during the morning tomorrow. So the timestamp top of your screen there, 6 in the morning. You'll at least be in snowfall, maybe light to moderate at least, maybe a little bit of heavy snow near Chicago at 6 in the morning tomorrow. This is what it looks like at like 12 o'clock. You'll go probably at least into a mixture, depending on where you are. If you're really far northwestern part of the state, like, Portage or something, you'll basically be on the cusp there of the mix. Further south, it'll turn into a slushy snow because of the rain. The backside of this will eventually bring more snowfall. So it'll be all wet. Northwest Indiana by the lake, more snow or rain or ice. You will be mainly snow. There might be a glazing of ice, but it shouldn't be much. This is what it says from the National Weather Service. 3 to 6 inches of snow. Again, depending on where you are in northwest Northwest Indiana. It all varies. But if you're near like Portage, for example, 3 to 6 inches is my expectation, maybe 4 to 8. Further south you go, it's going to be closer to like 1 to 3, 2 to 4. Most of that would fall initially, like when the winter storm gets there tomorrow morning. You'll have a lot of rain during the afternoon and evening, and then that would eventually clear out into a little bit more snow on the backside of the low. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking at this point. Slippery conditions are expected on the roadways purely due to the snow. We might see a little bit of the rain freeze over into ice going into Saturday morning, but I think that's a bit of a lower chance. I think that'll actually, never mind, that'll be during Friday afternoon. So there might be a little bit of ice, but it should be a very thin glaze. There might be like a little bit of black ice, which I'm sure many of you are familiar in the Midwest with black ice. That does happen quite often. Let me zoom out again. Further reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like the stream if you've found it informative so far. If you have any questions, again, feel free to plop those in the chat. And this live stream again today is brought to you by Radar Omega. That is what we're currently using on this live stream. It has tons of features, including the watches and warnings. You can customize it to whatever you'd like it to be. They have cyclone ports, by the way, these live cams. You can actually see snow on the ground here in Wisconsin right now. This is in southern Wisconsin. So there's already snow on the ground before this event's even coming. So this will obviously just stack up. You can also get all the live radar feeds, the computer models. They have a bunch of them embedded in the software. It's basically an all-in-one weather app that you can get on your iOS and Android device. You can check it out with the top link in the description below. And that is Radar Omega. By the way, the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center has just put out a mesoscale discussion for Arkansas. This is going to primarily be in this area here. They are monitoring the threat of severe weather right now. 40% chance of there being a watch issued at this time. Yeah, the greater threat of a tornado risk will probably be overnight. So just want to throw that out there. All right. I am missing a lot of questions here. Thank you, Dylan, for the 199. How about 49849? You'll probably at least get a foot of snow. I think undoubtedly you'll get a foot of snow. I wouldn't be surprised if you get near 2 feet of snow. And that goes all the way through tomorrow and as well as into Saturday morning. Here's the radar loop for that area in particular. I'll kind of zoom it out so everybody can see it here. But this is, for example, tomorrow, or let me start at the beginning here. We'll start at the beginning of the event. So this is 4 in the morning tomorrow. So Friday morning, 4 a.m. Snow is entering into southern Wisconsin and Illinois. Enters into western Michigan right around 9. It'll enter into that market area back up in the Michigan Peninsula, going just after lunchtime tomorrow. It'll ramp up during the afternoon and evening. Got a lot of snow falling across Michigan and eastern Wisconsin and even near the Chicago area. And then eventually, as we go into Saturday morning, there'll be lake effect snow, and that'll lead to a lot more accumulation. The lake effect snow is going to be what drops the most snow for you. That'll probably drop at least a foot of snow at the bare minimum, I think. That's bare minimum. There's a good chance that you'll get close to like 1.5 to 2 feet of snow. Again, if that's as long as the winds stay out of the north and we get enough lake effect snow there, I think that's undoubtedly going to be around that. So that's going to dump some serious snow. Thank you, Zachary, for the $5 super chat. What's the future forecast for Pontiac? Might not be saying that right, in Michigan. That is near Detroit. You will probably see in the ballpark of 3 to 6 inches. National Weather Service is calling for 4 to 7 with wind gusts exceeding 50 miles per hour. One thing's for certain, if there is snow on the ground and it does fall, we're definitely going to see blowing snow. So there will be the potential for blizzard warnings there too. We actually have blizzard warnings, by the way, for Davenport in Illinois. I wouldn't be surprised again if these get extended into like southern Wisconsin, but regardless, that area probably around 3 to 6 inches of snow. That's my forecast for that specific area. And again, there could be some blizzard conditions. That would be primarily Friday night to Saturday morning. All right, let's see. Looking for snowfall amount around 6 a.m. near Dixon, Illinois. That's a very oddly specific time. I think I clicked in the right place. I did. Dixon, Illinois by 6 a.m. tomorrow. This is going to be interesting. Never had such a specific question about snowfall totals before. Dixon in particular, this is at 11. Let's go back to 6. Probably an inch or two. That'd probably be about it. I think you'll get a lot more snow by the afternoon. This is after the event is all said and done. It'll be probably closer to about 7 to 11 inches, somewhere in that ballpark. But probably a couple inches by tomorrow at 6. It shouldn't be enough. It shouldn't be too crazy by then, but that snow will probably be coming down pretty hard. It's going to be heavier snow initially, and it'll just kind of stack up over time. I mean, when we look at the future radar here, let's go to 6 a.m. Again, this is all snow here at 6. This is going to 10 a.m. You'll probably transition into a little bit of a rain-snow mix. It'll be very brief, I think, for the Dixon area. You're right on the cusp, basically, of that around lunchtime. You'll probably still be a little bit in that mix till about 2 or 3 o'clock. I don't think we'll see it all the way through 4, unless there's enough warm air advection in that area and it's just warm enough. But regardless, you should still see some snow on the backside of this, and Dixon's a little bit further north of that. So I think you'll have a little brief transition into a rain-snow mix, but most of it should be purely snow. Thank you, JJ, for the $5 super chat. What's the wind gust showing for Monday and Tuesday in low South Texas? Let me check my other monitor. That's a quick question that I can just look up here. I'm not going to look it up on Google, but I'm just going to show you. I'll pull up the model here and show you. Weather apps are usually wrong, by the way. If you guys look at my Twitter page, I retweeted something last night. It was the Bing weather app, and apparently it goes out 31 days. And funny enough, it was showing that Alabama would be with high temperatures in the 100s by the end of the month. It would jump suddenly from 40 to 90 degrees in like one day. Pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, South Texas, you'll probably get into the 20s, by the way, at the bare minimum. Wind gusts overall, 15 to 25 miles per hour Monday, Tuesday, 20 to 30. I'm expecting at this point. Again, appreciate your generosity. I know where this is. It's down here. Okay. Somebody's wondering about Ottumwa, Iowa. Again, might not be saying the name right. That specific area down here, let's go to snowfall accumulation. And let's go and look at the HR. So the HR right now is showing about 12 inches, but generally speaking, this area in southeast Iowa, I would expect in the ballpark of about 7 to 11 inches with an isolated area or two getting close to like 13 to 14 inches of snow. That's what I'm thinking if you're down near the Route 63 area in Ottumwa. I might be saying the name right. I don't know. Wait, let me check chat. Ottumwa. There we go. All right, so Ottumwa. Thank you. So that area. I would expect around 7 to 11 inches. Nick, we have a donation link in the description. We do have a Cash App. I don't even know what it is, but there's a donation link in the description if you want to donate straight to me. I don't know where that is, but it's in the description somewhere. Tucker, if you find that, post it in chat. Or Shelly, one of the two. I think it's the one of the top links. It's right here. I got it. Never mind. So it's that link if you want to donate directly to me. But I do have a Cash App. I just have no clue what it is. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. All right. Let's see. I don't know how to say your name, but thank you, D. Elia, the 499. I have to drive from Nashville to St. Louis, Missouri tomorrow. Nashville to St. Louis. That's a heck of a drive right there. That's actually not too far. Never mind. All right. So we're going from Nashville to St. Louis. I have really no concerns if you're going from there to there. The only thing I'd be watching for is the shower and storm chance tomorrow. Let me go back to the future radar here. The only concern I really have for you would be these storms, but depends on when you leave. If you leave after lunchtime, you should be fine. This is like 11 to 12 o'clock. There will be some showers and storms, maybe some isolated damaging winds or quarter-sized hail, maybe a brief tornado, but even then, I don't think we'll see tornadoes up there. I think mainly isolated damaging winds. After 1 o'clock, it's just a few passing showers, and then once you go up to the north through St. Louis, I don't really think there'll be any big problems there. I think more than anything, as you go towards St. Louis, it'll basically just be that. And again, maybe a little bit of snow on the ground once you get to St. Louis. Maybe a coating to an inch, but again, it will not be anything out of the ordinary. What's the tornado potential for Sherwood, Arkansas? I think really all of Arkansas should be very mindful tonight, regardless of your risk. Be mindful that there is a chance for a few tornadoes tonight. Again, a couple of those could go strong. Let's go to the severe weather threat here tonight. This is the tornado risk. You're really not too far away from the hatched area. With that being said, I still think you're really on the same risk as everybody else. I think there's a medium risk here of tornadoes tonight. Little Rock in particular, be mindful, probably around 2 to 5 in the morning tonight. That, again, it's going to be a nocturnal threat. You'll have a better chance of an isolated tornado overnight tonight. Again, not everybody's going to see tornadoes, right? Not everybody will. But if you do see a tornado, obviously there'll be a tornado warning in most cases. You're going to want to make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts, including a weather radio, your phone, yada yada, whatever other methods you have. You know, maybe somebody's live on YouTube at that time. I know I will not be live until 2 a.m. Because I have classes tomorrow, but that's besides the point. Just make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts. Those are two of the best ways, having a weather radio and having multiple ways to receive alerts through your iOS or Android device, that sort of thing. All right, let me go further down here. Thank you, Tracy, for the 9 months as a minimum velocity member. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Sandy, for the $4.99. Thank you, Sue, for the $2 super chat. How are we looking near the O'Hare Airport? Is O'Hare near Chicago? I'm pretty sure it's on the north side of Chicago, right? It's back up near, like... I covered a tornado warning here before. I think it's the northern side of Chicago. Somebody confirm that? That's north side of Chicago. Okay. So north side of Chicago. In Chicago specifically, 6 to 12 inches is my forecast. If you're on the north side, near O'Hare Airport, which is near Oak Park. I'm not going to find this. All right, let me just look up Oak Park, Illinois. Oh, it's actually west. Okay, I thought it was north. All right, so it's a little bit west. You're basically in the same ballpark, 6 to 12 inches of snow. And that goes anywhere in the Chicago area. So again, if you're in Chicago, Evanston, yeah, again, anywhere in this like little thin stretch here, 6 to 12. A little bit further up here to the north. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me double check. But yeah, a little bit further up to the north, like near Algonquin and Rockford, 7 to 13 inches, like slightly higher totals I would expect there. Again, it's a bit of a wide range, more due to the fact there's uncertainty of where exactly when we'll transition and for how long we'll transition into purely rain in the Chicago area. If we don't at all, it's going to be closer to 12 inches, maybe even an isolated 15-inch reading. But if we do transition at all, it's probably not going to be any higher than 10. It's a pretty big deal, that little transition line. Thank you, Guy, by the way, for the $9.99. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, Guy. I really appreciate your generosity. I think you've donated another $9.99. Appreciate that a lot, Guy. Thank you. Sorry, I missed the other one. All right. All right. Leroy, Michigan, snowfall totals. Thank you for the 217. It's an interesting number. All right, so this is Leroy near 131. This is north of Kalamazoo, near the Cadillac area. Anywhere in here, I'll outline it here for you, but anywhere in this area here, I would expect between... what was my snowfall? It was 10 to 15. So 10 to 15 inches of snowfall is my forecast right now. From just north of the Muskegon area, north of Grand Rapids, back into the northeast parts of Michigan, northeast Michigan, geography. Those areas I would expect 10 to 15 inches of snow. Isolated area getting close to 18 inches as possible. This does not include lake effect snow Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So that's my prediction. Thank you, Gasoline, for the $1 super chat. Thank you, Anne, for becoming a minimum velocity member. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, I've caught up on all the donations. Let me go back to the regular chat. Sorry, there's a lot of them. Yeah, if you have questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's the red button down below. It's completely free to do, by the way. You'll stay up to date with the latest forecasts and live streams. Northwest Ohio. Northwest Ohio, you're not going to really see much. It's really just here in Bryan, west of Toledo. Let me go to snowfall accumulation here. Even if you see snow, it's going to be a wet, slushy snow for the most part. Maybe an exception here to Northwest Ohio. Let's go into motion here. Do a little motion. So if you're in southern Michigan and Indiana and Northwest Ohio, here's a little motion for you. So rain to start tomorrow around lunchtime. Maybe a little bit of snow briefly. Perhaps the backside of this low gets you a little bit of snow, but it would pretty much be the backside of that low. And that would be overnight Friday into Saturday morning. It really would not be much. I'm not overly concerned about that area in particular. Snowfall accumulation forecast, at least from the HRR model, is putting this area around 1 to 3. Honestly, I think that's pretty generous. 1 to 3 seems realistic. Maybe 3 to 6 in the very far northwestern quadrant here. But like near Toledo, I'd be shocked if you even got an inch of snow. If you got an inch of snow, it'd be a slushy snow. It's not going to be a very pleasant snow fight sort of snow in that area. All right. We have the same name. That's fantastic. There's a lot of, I don't know how common the name Max is, but I'm guessing it's at least somewhere in the middle. Like uncommon, but not like rare. No problem, Max. Appreciate you tuning in. Detroit will be another area where you're probably not going to see much of anything. Yeah, I just did, Tucker. I slowed down the chat. The Detroit area in particular, though, you're going to be right on the cusp of seeing anything meaningful. Again, maybe 1 to 3 inches in downtown Detroit. Higher snowfall totals near Flint, but it's not going to be that much higher. It'll probably be in the ballpark of 4 to 8 near Flint. Saginaw, 3 inches of snow seems a little bit low to me. Let me check the future radar here. See what the HR model is thinking. The HR model is actually the only model that I actually think is somewhere in the ballpark of what to expect tomorrow. Like all the other computer models, I was not a fan of. If you were at my live stream last night, there was plenty of models that we were looking at for snowfall accumulation, and I was not a fan of one single one. They were all so out of whack, in my opinion, for snowfall accumulation, because like literally every single one of them was showing like 20 inches of snow in so many areas that I just didn't think would have that. Saginaw should get probably at least in the 3 to 6 ballpark. Even if you get a brief transition to rain, I think you'll have enough snow on the backside of that load there for there to be around 3 to 6. So that's what I would expect there. There's severe weather in Tulsa now? I don't think so. There are some strong storms in Tulsa. Let's go and take off the severe weather risk here real quick. Let me check out a few of the storms here across the board, just to see if any of these are rotating. Bit of a hailstorm back up near Hector, southwest of Clinton, Arkansas. We have some storms in here, not really severe, but possibly some gusty winds, maybe a little bit of small hail. And back over near Tulsa, this will be mainly damaging winds for these storms in particular. And right now, it's just thunderstorms. Fun fact, Tulsa is seeing thunderstorms right now. The time is 8:53 Central Time. So Tulsa is seeing thunderstorms right now. Think about it this way. In about 6 hours or 7 hours, you'll have some snow potentially going through your area. That's how crazy the weather is going to be down here. And by the way, DFW today, if you haven't already heard, was 70 degrees. They're going to drop down to a wind chill of about 10 to 15 tomorrow morning. It's going to be a massive drop in temperatures. Again, we are currently using the Radar Omega app. You can download it on iOS and Android with the top link in the description below for those that are asking about it. I know we have a few people asking. Yeah, it's an all-in-one weather app with computer models, radar, satellite, all sorts of forecast graphics. Again, you can check it out, top link in the description below. It also actually shows you the travel impacts that are being forecasted from the Weather Prediction Center, or at least I believe. Let me find those real quick. Yeah, right here. They actually have a key here. This is actually interesting. I didn't know they had a key. Let me put this key right here. We'll put it like right here. We don't have any extreme impact areas, I don't think. Yeah, so here's the impacts that are being expected tomorrow. Let me take off the radar. But here are the impacts being expected tomorrow. So we are looking at major travel impacts for those anywhere in the red shaded areas. So this includes areas like Milwaukee, near Chicago, and then back north of Lansing, So any of these areas, also near Kalamazoo, all those areas are in the ballpark there of at least seeing some major travel impacts. That, again, includes Kalamazoo back through northeast Michigan and parts of southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, eastern Iowa. Moderate travel impacts expected back through Iowa and as well as through much of Michigan. Almost the entire state of Michigan is going to have at least moderate travel impacts. And by the way, what all this means is the stuff right here. So if you're in any of these major travel impacts, you can expect considerable disruptions to daily life, dangerous or impossible driving conditions, avoid travel at all possible, widespread closures and disruptions or to infrastructure may occur. So again, anywhere in southern Wisconsin or even near Green Bay, again, all those areas under their gun for some major travel impacts. So be mindful of that. Moderate travel impacts, expect disruptions to daily life, like hazardous driving conditions. Use extra caution when you're on the roadways, especially with how much snow is going to fall. The winds are going to be high. There's going to be blowing snow. There's going to be a lot of issues tomorrow. So if you don't have to drive tomorrow, don't. Same thing with Saturday. It'll probably still be pretty rough out there with the winds being high. Minor impacts means expect a few inconveniences to daily life. So that is what we're looking at specifically across the Midwest. Here's a better view of everything, so I'll keep it on the screen here for just a second in case you need to take a screenshot. Thank you, John, for the 217 Fort Myers Beach, Florida severe storms. I'm pretty sure there's not a severe threat. If there is any, it's going to be tomorrow night, and it's going to be a low threat. It would be like isolated damaging winds. That'd be it. Fort Dodge, Iowa. Snow. Fort Dodge will be in the ballpark of probably about 5 to 10 inches north of Des Moines. If you're a little bit further south than east, it might go closer to 6 to 12, but I would say reasonably 5 to 10 is what you can expect. The National Weather Service is saying 6 to 10, so pretty much in the same realm. Obviously, be mindful, wind chills below 40 to 50 degrees below zero are expected going into Saturday and Sunday mornings, so it is going to get dangerously cold on both Saturday and Sunday, and it'll probably be pretty cold all the way through the week, by the way. It's not going to just be a one-day event. Let me go back over to the computer models. 00Z, and let's go to, this is 12 o'clock tomorrow. So again, 12 o'clock tomorrow will probably be one of the more interesting times to watch for with this winter storm, mainly due to the fact we're going to be watching for the rain and snow line and how that interacts with the overall snowfall totals. If that rain and snow line goes further north toward Chicago, we're probably going to see around 6 inches or less of snow. Well, probably about 6. I think we're going to see 6 inches of snow no matter what in the Chicago area. If you are right along the lake, I think it'll be a bit lower. But even then, I think it'll still be right around that 6-inch mark. You could go to 12 inches again if we don't see that transition into purely rain or even a mixture at some point. Hail is being confirmed, by the way, in Yell County. So in Yell County, Arkansas, there's around $quarter to $half sized hail being reported there. Saw a photo on Twitter. Quarter sized hail in Russellville as well. So a couple things just keep in mind if you're back down in the severe warned areas, which is only one severe thunderstorm warning right now. But back down in Arkansas, that's what we're looking at right now. The bomb cyclone is not really official until tomorrow, and that's if it happens. Let me go back over to here, because it doesn't show pressure here. Let me go to this. Let's go to this screen. So this low pressure system, I mentioned this before, but it's likely to be a bomb cyclone. And what that means is that the pressure is going to drop by 24 millibars over the span of 24 hours. Yeah. So this low pressure system at 995 millibars in Oklahoma and Texas at really tonight. That's where it is. It's down near Oklahoma and Texas. This is 24 hours from now. 979 millibars is actually what the European model shows. Let me look at the HRR. Maybe it might actually not be a bomb cyclone. Let's see. It's 997 right now. This is tomorrow at the same exact time. So the HRR brings it down to 971-ish around the same time frame. So this is 4Z Friday. Let's go to 4Z on Saturday. So 995 to 971. So that's 24 millibars. We won't really know officially if this is a bomb cyclone until tomorrow. It's going to be a very close call either way. I would say this gets to that status. And again, a bomb cyclone means the pressure drops 24 millibars over the span of 24 hours. That would start tonight and then move into the Great Lakes region tomorrow. And I would say that's a pretty good chance of happening. Probably 60 to 70% chance. Either way, it's going to be close. And again, this is a very rare event over land to see a pressure go that low in that short of amount of time. It just doesn't happen very often. It's very common in the Pacific. It's very common in the Gulf of Mexico when there's hurricanes. This is not, or I mean, I wouldn't say it's common in the Gulf of Mexico. It's called rapid intensification when we're talking about it in the Gulf and whatnot in the Atlantic Ocean. But I would at least say it's still pretty rare over land, and it's uncommon in the Atlantic, but it's definitely more common, I would say, than over land. Doesn't happen very often. So that's what I'm talking about when we talk about a bomb cyclone, which is a very interesting term. Bombogenesis is the actual term, but most people refer to it as a bomb cyclone. Getting a report from Roe. Hope you're doing well, by the way, Roe. Teeny tiny hail in east of Tulsa. Thank you for the report. Yes, there is some small hail down here. It's not much. Also right now, east side. These storms actually don't look too bad. I mean, this one near Claremore, a little bit more of a deepening in terms of the reflectivity, or higher values, probably meaning at least heavy rainfall, perhaps a little bit of larger hail. Correlation coefficient really not picking up on much, so. But there's probably at least a little bit of small hail at the bare minimum. It is very cold out there, and we don't really need much for there to be hail with how cold it is in the atmosphere. By the way, the snow, let's go to the live radar here. The snow is already beginning to fall across parts of Nebraska and northern Kansas. And we have mostly light to moderate snow, maybe a couple pockets of heavy snow near Interstate 80 between Lincoln and Kearney. But back up here, we have a live cam, a barefoot bar, a couple of snowflakes flying out there. Very, very, very light snow. If we look at the reflectivity here, the DBZ values are super low. They're like 5. And what that basically means is that these little snowflakes that are falling are teeny tiny, like Ro just said in terms of hail. It's actually 4 degrees out there, so this is going to be a very fluffy snow regardless of what happens. This isn't a lake, by the way. It's frozen over. 4 degrees Fahrenheit. That's very cold. But there's a couple snowflakes flying out there. You might pick out a couple here on the screen. It's not much, but this is, again, the barefoot bar. If you've been following us for about 6 months now, we've used this live cam over the summer when we had severe storms in the area. We were actually covering a Minnesota tornado that day. And there was a slide right here. There's some outdoor furniture for a like a bar. So there's like little tiki hut things, and then again a slide. Kids would go into the lake, and now they can't because it's all frozen over. Good times. Just a history lesson from when we last covered Northwest Iowa. That was the last time I think we actually talked about Northwest Iowa, was when we had the severe storms. Sunday evening in Cape Girardeau. If you're talking about the ice and snow event, let me go to the GFS on here. And kind of show you what's happening there. There will be a chance for some ice and snow into the southern plains and southeast United States going into Sunday. So this is what we're looking at. By the way, again, timestamps at the very top of your screen, that little small number, 9 o'clock. This is Saturday night. This is going into Sunday. We'll have some snow developing over Oklahoma and Arkansas going around noontime on Sunday. This is during the afternoon. I am expecting some snow in North Texas, some freezing rain to lead to ice in central and southern, or more central Texas more than anything, so near Waco, back through the Dallas area. This is by midnight, Sunday night into Monday morning. Light to moderate snow, light freezing rain leading to ice. And this is Monday at 9. So we'll be talking about light to moderate snow across this pretty large area from West Virginia. One of the question marks is how far south this goes. This actually could get close to the Gulf Coast near Jackson, possibly even close to like Interstate 10, which would be pretty crazy to say the least, but it's possible with this Arctic blast. We'll see what happens over the next couple of days in terms of model trends, but it's entirely possible that that happens. Cape Girardeau in particular, though, I don't think we'll get much there. I think it'll be very minimal snow overall, unless there's a major change. If you do see snow, it'll be like 1 to 3 inches, but that's, again, if you see any snow. I don't think you'll see much. But again, that is subject to change since we're still a few days out. All right. Girardeau, thank you. Sorry. Is it not Girardeau? I could have sworn it was last time I covered it, but maybe not. That's when I was doing severe weather coverage. Again, could be wrong. Texarkana is the same thing, by the way, Kayla. Again, you'll probably see some snow, at least a little bit, maybe a coating to an inch or two, and then probably some ice as we go into Sunday night and a Monday morning. I will have a more detailed forecast on that. Trying to think. I'll probably have more detailed forecast on that tomorrow night or Saturday morning. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, have the bell icon clicked, and I'll have a full detailed forecast on that one of those 2 days. I mean, that's pretty much a guarantee. I'll have it one of those 2 days. More likely than not, it'll probably be Saturday morning, honestly. But it could be Friday night. I think I'm going to have a forecast tomorrow morning as well. I think. Maybe not. I don't know. If I don't have a forecast tomorrow morning, there'll be one tomorrow afternoon. So, it might be in that one. Could Kentucky be upgraded to a slight risk of severe weather tomorrow? I highly doubt it. We're not going to have enough instability up here. I mean, the biggest problem with this entire event, by the way, tomorrow, and I mentioned this earlier, the instability and the low-level moisture are so low for having such a strong low-level jet. I mean, the low-level jet is going to be insane tomorrow. Like, it's one of the highest numbered, like, one of the strongest low-level jets I've seen in, like, ever. It's one of the strongest with this bomb cyclone. This is what we're looking at tomorrow for the low-level jet, by the way. It's incredible how much potential this setup has tomorrow. Look at this. Like, this is at about noontime tomorrow. The storms are going to be right about here. The low-level jet is going to be cranking at 90 knots. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, by the way. I'm just saying this is something that I've just really never seen before. At least from my forecasting over the last couple of years, this is just a really high number. It doesn't happen very often. And this is a ripping sort of environment for, you know, tornadic activity. The problems that we have, though, is just a lack of moisture, and the temperatures aren't going to be very warm. There's not going to be much warm air. We have a little bit of veering here. It's something, but it's nothing crazy. It's just, the instability is going to be very low. I mean, there's so many issues with the setup. And if we had a lot more instability, a stronger southerly wind and all that sort of stuff, this is an environment that could easily spawn a tornado outbreak. We just don't have that. I mean, maybe down here, like near the Florida Panhandle, has a slightly higher chance there of a couple tornadoes, and maybe an isolated strong tornado. It's entirely possible. If we go back to here, on the tornado risk, this is what we're looking at. And again, it's a 5% across a very large area. And by no means am I saying there won't be tornadoes tomorrow. I'm just saying it could be way worse than what it is right now in terms of the forecast. There will still be a few tornadoes that are likely across Mississippi all the way through North Carolina. Still be mindful of that. It doesn't take much for there to be a tornado in this environment, so the smallest change to the forecast tomorrow morning could make this into something different, but right now it doesn't look to be a very favorable environment overall for that. I think damaging winds is the main concern, so hatch down those trampolines, have multiple ways to receive alerts, and have a tornado action plan in place. And this is the flying trampoline meter for tomorrow. So I'm putting it at high risk primarily because of how windy it'll be. Even areas, I mean, there's a bunch of wind advisories too and high wind warnings. Again, high risk of flying trampolines tomorrow, at least for the southeast. That also includes tonight if you're in the southern plains and whatnot. Yeah, it's still expected to be a bomb cyclone, or at least it's likely. And if you're in Texas, by the way, our toilet paper meter, at this point, it's up to an extreme risk. I don't think we're going to have many people traveling on Sunday or Monday in North Texas. So if you're in North Texas, extreme risk of toilet paper meter. I don't even know what this really means, to be honest. I literally made this like 2 days ago. And cleanup aisle 2, I don't think we're there yet, but we might get there. Northwest Alabama will be mainly a damaging wind threat tomorrow morning. Again, I would not be surprised, though, if we get an isolated tornado. Let me go to the HR here. Let's go to the reflectivity. And let me go to 00Z. Flying Fences Friday is tomorrow. That is correct. This is what we're looking at 9 in the morning. So again, a lot of storms out there. One of the other problems is there's just gonna be so many storms, so it's gonna make it hard for these to become discrete. But we'll have a line of storms, and then we'll also have some isolated, or more widely spread, or widespread, I should say, semi-discrete cells out in front of that line. These will produce a little bit more of a tornado risk, but I still think it stays low tomorrow. We'll be watching these storms roll through Northwest Alabama around 11 tomorrow. And again, a lot of these will be mainly damaging winds, but we could still get a couple tornadoes out of it. I think, honestly, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Eastern Georgia are going to be mainly damaging winds, if that. I don't really think there'll be much tornado activity. Will there be a tornado at some point tonight? Texarkana, I can't tell you exactly if there'll be a tornado. It's a very, very hard thing to tell if one specific city will definitely see a tornado or definitely not when you're in a 10% tornado risk. But I can at least give you the idea that there is definitely a chance here tonight for potentially an isolated strong tornado in that area. Again, you're kind of almost in the bullseye of the 10% hatched area, which doesn't mean you're definitely going to see anything. But I mean, what we're talking about around like 2 in the morning, there'll be some storms right to your west. You'll see these right around 3 or 4. And if these are able to rotate enough and get enough spin and have a bit of an inflow notch going into one of those storms, I don't see a reason why there wouldn't be an isolated tornado in southwest Arkansas and northeast Texas. But there's no reason to panic by any means. Again, there might be a tornado, but it's a pretty low chance. I mean, anywhere you look, I could put a single dot on one location, and that area seeing a tornado, it's like under a 1% chance. It's such a low probability, but you still want to be prepared, because if there is a tornado tonight, it could be potentially on the stronger side with how strong the low-level jet is. But again, it's just such a minuscule chance, but it obviously exists. Any snow for Louisiana? Please tell me that is all my child has been asking for. Northern Louisiana has a chance going into Monday morning. I cannot give you a definite yes though on it. I mean, it's a possibility. Let's go back to the GFS again. All I wanted for Christmas was snow. We never got it in Florida. Unfortunate. Let me go to. So this is what we're looking at. Is this Monday? Yeah, this is Monday at 12 o'clock. The GFS model has the idea that there will be some freezing rain that could lead to ice, and then perhaps a transition into snow. It's still kind of uncertain at this point, but I still think you have a chance, but I think it's still on the low side. I think if you see wintry weather, it's going to probably be freezing rain. Maybe a little mixture of rain and snow, but I don't think it's going to accumulate into much. But again, subject to change. You might see something, you might not. I hope you just see snow and not any ice, because ice just causes so many problems. Do you think the Chicago suburbs will get upgraded to blizzard warnings? Possibly. I'll give it like a 40% chance, maybe a 50% chance. I mean, there's going to be blowing snow. That's pretty much in the ballpark of already being in the blizzard sort of realm. It's close to it, at least. I think if we do get blizzard warnings, they'll probably be over in here, but we'll see. I mean, either way, travel conditions tomorrow are going to be very dangerous. So, how's it going, Austin? Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. I ask about Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida will be fine. Tomorrow, late afternoon, be mindful. Isolated damaging winds possible. Maybe a brief tornado, but that's really about it down there. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Did not. Other donations, did not. All right, cool. And I just got one. Thank you, Ice Cream, for the $10 super chat. Will Northwest Alabama be a daytime or nighttime? It'll be daytime. Your best chance of severe weather in Northwest Alabama will be about 8 to 2. So 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Basically when you wake up until just after lunchtime. We go back to the radar here. All right, I missed something else here. Think it's going to shift more to the south. I want that inch of snow in Detroit. I honestly don't think it's going to shift any further south for specifically Detroit. I think Detroit's probably going to be around an inch. If roads flash freeze, will that last more than a day in Missouri? Let's check the temperatures. I believe it will. But I'm guessing roads get treated in Missouri, right? Or is it just main roads? I don't 100% know about Missouri. I'm not sure how they treat these events. This is 8 p.m. Monday night. Again, below freezing. This is Saturday. It doesn't look very promising. Yeah, Saturday's going to be definitely below freezing for probably a while. I don't think I mean, it depends on where you are in Missouri. Did you have a specific area? I don't know where this went. I'll check the velocities in a second for Arkansas. This person did. All right, so you didn't say a specific area. Izzy, it's a low to medium threat. It's currently a 5% risk, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went back up to a 10, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it just stays put. Check out Missouri real quick. I'm gonna use my other screen to look at the models long term. So if you do get a flash freeze, the last time it'll be above freezing will be Friday around like 12, maybe 3, depending on where you are. And the temperatures will be below freezing at least until next Wednesday. But the entire state will probably be below freezing for a long time. I don't think you're going to go above freezing anytime soon, at least for the entire state. If you're in southern and southern central, you have a chance around Wednesday to go above freezing, but it's not going to be very long, and it's probably not going to be much. I'm good, Brandon. I'm good. Taking it slower tonight. Thank you, Christopher, for the $4.99. Is there any chance of more than 1 to 3 inches of snow in Fort Wayne, Indiana? Not really. You're currently in the ballpark of 1 to 3. Blowing snow is really the biggest reason why they have a winter weather advisory, but no, I don't think you're going to get much, honestly. I kind of would be surprised if you got 3. Actually, the HRR has you at 1 to 3. The reason why you might get up to 3 would be because of the backside of this low pressure system, and that might usher in a little bit of snow on the backside Friday night to Saturday morning, perhaps an additional inch or 2. That would be about it, though, and I think it's gonna be a slushy snow. But I actually wouldn't be surprised if we got to 4 in that case. But it'll probably be between 2 to 4 at most. I think 1 to 3 is a fine amount, though. I think it's in reason at this point. Again, if you're in eastern Wisconsin, the jackpot area is between Green Bay and just north of Milwaukee. So, again, between 10 to 15 inches of snow is currently in the forecast. Friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Click that red button down below. We are currently 493 subscribers from 90,000. We actually might be able to hit that in the live stream tonight. Also, click the bell icon down below so you're notified with the latest live streams. And also today's live stream again is brought to you by Radar Omega. That is what we're currently using here on this live stream. It is an app that you can get on iOS and Android for only $8.99. It is the best $8.99 you'll ever spend. Check it out. iOS and Android, top link in the description below. Has so many features including computer models, there's, by the way, there's like almost a dozen computer models. They also have the live radar, severe thunderstorm warnings. It literally has everything. It's an all-in-one radar app, satellite imagery, so many cool things. Again, check it out, top link in the description below. And I appreciate Radar Omega for sponsoring today's live stream. Thank you, Ice Cream, for the $10 super chat. Would you ever do a rap cast? I'm not doing any rapping. Maybe if I'm actually feeling well, I could maybe do something like that, but I already kind of rap in my forecast to begin with how fast I talk, for the record. But I do want to improve on that this year. My New Year's resolution will be improving the speed of my forecasts. I actually today, for those that watched today's forecast, did you notice any difference in the pace of it? Did you feel like it was a bit slower than usual? Like today's video forecast, the one I uploaded a few hours ago. I was curious if you noticed any differences for the bulk of it, not the first 30 seconds. The first 30 seconds are never changing, but like for the remainder of it. Will Illinois get warm bubble tomorrow, do you think? I don't think Illinois will, at least the northern side of the state, but if you're in like this area, let me take this off. I think there's a better chance just south of Chicago and near Chicago that there will be some warm air there, and that could lead to lower snowfall accumulation. That's why I'm accounting in like the Chicago area, 6 to 12 inches of snow. I think Chicago is going to see 6 inches. If we see rain, like that transition to some warmer air, if it stays cold the entire time, you're probably at least getting 12. You'd make money as an auctioneer. I've heard that comment more times than you might imagine. I think that's happened at least 1,000 times on these live streams. Not specifically about the money part, but being an auctioneer. Thank you, Joe, for the $2 super chat. Wind chill, Oxford, Kansas, Saturday through Monday. It's going to be cold in Kansas. Where is Oxford? What side of the state? Can somebody put that in the chat for me? Any news on Walls, Mississippi? Nothing really new. The only thing that's changed is that the tornado risk has gone down to 5%. At least for most of Mississippi. Not all of it. Some of it's still in the 2%, I believe. Very, very low chance. Gotcha. Thank you for the $4.99. Tornadoes in the Tulsa area of Oklahoma, I don't expect. I think the storms are actually already done down there. Let's check out the live radar real quick. Yeah, I mean, at this point, the only chance you'd have is like right now. If there's any tornado risk, it's going to be going east toward like, or actually Muskie is right out here. If you see any tornadoes, it's a very low chance at this point. It would be in the next couple hours. Just know that. After this area of storms moves through, it's done. I'd be watching this cluster right here. There's a little bit of rotation near Henrietta, but that's about it. That'd be the area to watch for. Did anybody put the area of where that is in Kansas? Oxford, Kansas. I can actually just look it up on here. I'll do that. Thank you, love. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoy the channel. South of Wichita. Okay. What is up with the chemtrail deniers in the chat? What in the world? Oh, my lord. All right, let me go over to here. I think the chemtrail thing is very fascinating. It's the whole thing behind it. You would be shocked how many people believe in it. There is a lot. I'm not going to go into a discussion about it. I'm not going to, go against your views or anything, but it's just very interesting. If you are south of Wichita, I think you said Saturday through Sunday or something. Let me check again. All right, so Saturday morning in the Wichita, Kansas area, 15 below. It'll be 15 below basically all day. Sunday, 15 below, 10 below. You basically will be below 0 the entire time. It'll probably be between 5 and 15 below 0. I'm gonna call no snow in Florida. It's a pretty good guess. I mean, some people still think the Earth is flat, so I mean, there's a lot of conversations that we can have. I'm not going to go into any of them. You guys can Believe in whatever you want. This is not a political channel. Kansas City. Around an inch of snow. That's about it. That's at least from what the National Weather Service is saying, which I'm on board with that. I don't think you'll see much. Thank you, Christine, for the $4.99. Pouring water. One moment, please. That was some ASMR water sound effects, I believe. Let's go to Christine for $5 super chat. Sorry. I have to drive Atlanta to South Jersey and back. Next best 2-3 days to go. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. I think you'll be fine with really going anytime. Let's take off the tornado risk. Let's go through the future radar. And let's do this. So we'll go through the future radar here. If you can go tomorrow morning, I don't think it'll be that bad. So if you left at like 7 tomorrow or something, you went up north and east, you're probably gonna run into rain either way. Tomorrow, if you left late day tomorrow, you'll have no rain really. So if you left late day, you should be fine. And then going into like Saturday. But if you leave Saturday morning, you should be fine as well. There won't be anything to impact you. Saturday, Sunday should be fine. There won't be any rain or anything like that. Thank you, Food, for the $5 super chat as well. Appreciate that. Thank you. Some of the craziest news happened today in the sports world, or even yesterday. Nick Saban retired, which was shocking to me. Like, I saw that coming out of nowhere. I didn't realize how old he was. I thought he was like 58, to be honest. And then Bill Belichick got basically part ways from the Patriots, and I'm a Patriots fan, so it was kind of crazy to see that, and I still wanted him to stay there. But there's some crazy stuff in the sports world today. It's crazy. And yesterday. And Pete Carroll. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. I'll be getting to some of them. Again, I'm trying to get through as many as possible. There's a lot. Everybody's retiring this year, including YouTubers. I mean, people retire every year, to be fair. Mike Vrabel is fired too. Yeah, he might be I think he'll be the next Patriots head coach. Either that or it'll be Gerard Mayo. Back to weather, because I could talk about sports all day too. Let's see. Central Missouri to see any severe weather tonight? No. You will be okay. It's going to be pretty much all snow. Like, you might get some thunderstorms up there, but it wouldn't be severe. Like, maybe gusty winds. But again, I'm not really going to expect anything out beyond that. Like, just south of Jefferson City is the furthest north this threat goes. The enhanced risk, again, is the area that we're watching for a bit more of a tornado risk. So be mindful of that. Again, I don't know if anybody's going to be live for this tonight, so there might be, there might not. I have no clue. But if there is anybody live, this event could get interesting. I will not be, unfortunately, but again, a few tornadoes are possible tonight. We might see a couple strong tornadoes in the orange shaded region. That is a level 3 of 5 risk. This is the 2 of 5, and this is the 1 of 5. This is the lowest. This is a low to medium threat, and then this right here is a medium threat. Again, overall, the main area to watch for would be the orange shaded region. Again, a few tornadoes possible, couple could be strong, damaging winds also being a concern. Initially with these storms, large hail is the main threat, which we are already seeing that. The game time wind chill for Kansas City. What time is that? I can't remember. Is that Saturday night? I believe it's Saturday night. Saturday night, the game time wind chill will be about negative 28 degrees. So, yeah, if you're going to that game, please bundle up. Do not be one of those people in the stands that's shirtless. Because I don't know how you can do that in those sort of wind chills. I can't even imagine going in 6 layers to Montana in 50-degree wind chill weather. Nonetheless, going with like just a light jacket in Kansas City. That's just, it's gonna be so cold there on Saturday. Or Sunday, sorry. Or is that Sunday? Is that not Saturday? That is Sunday. Is it not Sunday? It's Saturday. Okay, yeah, it's Saturday. So, yeah. Expect it to be cold. There's some crazy Kansas City loyal fans out there that can do it. I bet. I bet. I just can't imagine doing that myself. There's just no way. No matter how much I love a sports team. 30-degree wind chills, you know, no thank you. I will be bundled up in 16 layers of clothes before I ever try doing anything like that. Thank you. No way. It's the alcohol layer of protection. There you go. That's always possible. Thank you, Gilson. Snow accumulation in Dallas, Texas. I think it's going to be mostly like, I think it's going to be mostly ice in Dallas if there's any wintry precip. If there is snow, a coating to an inch at most. It will not be much more than that. Unless something dramatically changes in the next 24 hours, which is entirely possible. That's what I'm thinking. Thank you, Lucy. I appreciate it. Glad you enjoy my videos. Any rotation in Arkansas? Let me check. Looks like we have some. Yeah, this storm right here has some rotation. Near 298. It's actually multiple storms rotating right now. Rotation near Danville, rotation north of or east of Sims, and then another area of rotation west of Norman, again in western parts of Arkansas. So there is some rotation out there. Again, I will not be live really for much of this, if at all, for the tornado risk, unless something happens like right now. But again, have multiple ways to receive alerts, weather radio, your iOS device, that sort of thing, especially if you go to bed. Because we could very easily see a few tornadoes tonight. A couple of strong tornadoes also being possible. By the way, I'm going to show you guys this for those that are in North Texas. I did make a graphic for this, so to make this easier for those that are wondering about rain, snow. This does include Oklahoma and Arkansas as well. This is my latest forecast for Texas and southern Oklahoma. So mainly snow, ice is possible in parts of North Texas like Denton, McKinney, Sulphur Springs, Paris, Sherman, and Gainesville. Mainly freezing rain, isolated snow to the south of that. So Dallas, for example, great circle, by the way. Dallas, for example, though, you'll probably see mainly ice if there's wintry precip, but again, subject to change. You can, again, take a screenshot of this if you'd like. I'll keep it up for a couple seconds. That's what we're looking at this point. Here's a live cam, by the way, just west of Little Rock. You can see the rain falling right now. Oh, there's some flashes of lightning. So there's a little bit of some, there's obviously storm activity in the area. So is there a watch yet? No. Yeah, no watches yet. There was a mesoscale discussion a couple hours ago. I would not be surprised if a tornado watch gets issued here in the next 30 minutes if things keep on trend, because those storms are definitely rotating down here. They're the Mount Ida area, Sims, Odin, basically just west of Hot Springs. Pretty rural areas overall, but how much snow will Tulsa, Oklahoma get? Not much. Again, maybe a coating. That would be about it. That's not going to be much tonight. But don't get your hopes up if you're looking for a lot. If you get an inch, I'd be surprised. You could. You could technically get an inch there. I think a coating is reasonable. Friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It is free to do. Just hit the red button down below and subscribe. We are currently closing in on 90,000 subscribers. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button down below if you've been enjoying the stream so far and finding it informative. And again, today's live stream is brought to you by Radar Omega. That is the app that we're currently using on this live stream. You can download it on iOS and Android with the top links in the description below. It's an all-in-one weather app with the radar, the satellite imagery, all sorts of amazing things. Again, I can't recommend this weather app enough. It is so fantastic. They have cyclone ports as well. These are live cameras. You can see what's happening in real time. It was actually just snowing here in northwest Iowa a moment ago. Don't see any snow anymore, but again, lots of live cams here across the United States on Radar Omega. Again, you can download it. Top link in the description below. On iOS and Android, it's the best $8.99 that you'll spend on any weather app ever. It's fantastic. Any other rotation heading toward Little Rock? Thank you, Nick, for the $5 super chat. No, not right now. I think you'll have a bit more of a threat once we get closer to, like, what time is it right now? 9:37. So you'll have a better chance of severe weather closer to midnight to about 5 in the morning, because these storms are going more northeast. They're not going directly east, so they'll take a little bit to get there. Yeah, about midnight to 5 would be the time frame to watch. Probably not until 5. I think midnight to like 4, midnight to 3. Probably just a little after midnight though. Your generous $5 super chat. Thank you. Do I live in Iowa? I do not live in Iowa. I could not imagine living in sub 40 how do I put this? Sub-zero temperatures that are 40 degrees under zero for wind chills going into Saturday and Sunday. I've gone through it before, and I just can't imagine doing it nowadays. It's just so cold. And for those that, does anybody in this chat, I'm curious, who lives in Montana? Or actually, just put your, for those that want to, put your state in the chat. I'm kind of curious if anybody actually lives in Montana and has to go through the extremely cold weather over the next few days. The wind chills are going to get about 70 below zero for wind chills going into at least Saturday morning. Pennsylvania, Louisiana, Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois, Michigan, Virginia, okay. Texas with a straight face, okay. Massachusetts, it does get cold there sometimes. I think almost all my followers and subscribers are from, like, or not all of them, like 90% of them are from, like, the Midwest, the Great Plains, the Southeast, or the East Coast. The West Coast, I don't really have much of a following from. Seeing lots of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Illinois, and Indiana. Colorado, I think that's the first time I saw that. South Carolina. Northeast Ohio will probably not see much crazy. I'd be surprised if you get any more than like an inch. I think it's gonna be mostly rain in Northeast Ohio. Thank you, Izzy, for becoming a 5-month minimum velocity member. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. Lots of states. How's it going, Joyce? Welcome back. Okay, so I didn't see a single person from Montana in this chat. That's impressive. Montana, Idaho, Washington, basically anywhere up there where it's going to go frigid, in Wyoming too, and see anybody from those areas. But if you are one of those people that's watching right now from Montana, I feel for you. I mean, that's unbelievable how cold it's going to get there. Again, 70 degrees below zero potentially when it comes to the wind chills. Just insane. Okay, we got a Washington State. There we go. We got one from Washington. I don't think it's going to get that cold in Washington. I think Montana's going to be worse. Oh, did somebody say Montana? Okay, there might be a couple in there. The chat was going pretty fast. Flint, Michigan, I would expect between 4 to 8 inches of snow, Big Doug. That is my expectation. All right, let me just check out these storms again. We are now 3 subscribers from 89,700. Again, if you have not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We might be able to hit 90,000 in this live stream. So if you've not already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you've been enjoying the content and you want more weather forecasts and live streams like this, make sure to subscribe. I usually don't ask this many times, but 90,000 is a pretty big milestone, and it's actually possible that we hit that in this live stream. It's that red button down below. It's free to do. It does not cost a dime. Thank you, Chris, for the 199. What about St. Louis? St. Louis will be almost all rain. You will have a very brief snow transition, but it's not going to be much. This is the future radar. All rain tonight, and you might get a very brief transition to snow around 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Very close call, but even then, it will not be anything to write home about. Maybe a coating if you're lucky. I'd be surprised if you got an inch, honestly. I think a coating would be about it there. And then obviously heavy snow tomorrow afternoon for those in the Chicago area, central and northern Michigan, that sort of thing. I don't think Omaha is going to be a blizzard. Omaha will be a winter storm. You might get some blowing snow, so that can be kind of in that criteria. You're forecasted to get between 6 to 9 inches of snow, which I think is reasonable for that area. I would actually put it closer to 4 to 8, to be honest, for Omaha. Let's go back. That's what we're looking at tonight. It's already starting up. This is overnight tonight. This is tomorrow morning. Actually, the snow on the HRR has it sitting there for a while. Maybe you do get around on a higher scale of 6 to 9. Let me check the HRR model total snow. Actually, yeah. I mean, Omaha could actually get closer to maybe 8 to 9. It's possible. If the snow sits around there tomorrow morning, then it's possible. But, yeah. There is still a chance for blizzard conditions, but I think overall it'll be more blowing snow. It'll definitely be dangerous to travel out there. Moderate travel impacts at the minimum likely tomorrow, so that's what I'm thinking. Will I be live streaming tomorrow? I don't think so, but we will see. I'm still kind of sick with a cold, and even going live for tonight was kind of hard. I don't know. If I do go live, it will not be until tomorrow afternoon, after 4. But we'll see. Holy cow, 3,000 watching. We peaked at 5,200 earlier somehow. Last night we are actually at 3,000 briefly. Appreciate everybody tuning in, by the way. I really do. I'm glad everybody is finding this informative. And again, we do live streams like this all the time. So I do appreciate everybody tuning in. I honestly expected we'd have 500 viewers yesterday. We end up getting 3,000. I expected we might be around 1,000 today, and we got to 5,000. So I really do appreciate the support. I'm glad everybody's finding this informative. We have any Lions fans? I don't know who I'm rooting for in the playoffs, to be honest. I'll figure that out tomorrow. Thank you, Crazy, for becoming a minimum velocity member. Welcome to the Velocities. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Moral, for the $2 super chat. How's Kalamazoo, Michigan looking? Kalamazoo will probably be in the ballpark of 5 to 10. You might get a little bit more than that, though. Actually, the National Weather Service has it at 8 to 14 inches of snow with wind gusts up to 50. There actually could be blizzard warnings there. But the big thing about Kalamazoo in particular is that lake effect snow is likely Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm not including that in the snowfall for Friday. So if we're talking about from now all the way through Monday, you're probably going to see about 12 to 18 inches at least in that area. And as well as Grand Rapids in that area. That's as long as you see that lake effect snow. Thank you, Chronic, for the $4.99. North Georgia. North Georgia will be mainly damaging winds with maybe an isolated tornado, tomorrow. Timing will probably be 1 to 5 for Georgia. Thank you, Irish, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate the generosity. Appreciate all the generosity tonight. We've had a lot of super chats. Appreciate it all. Thank you. Thank you. Is the rotation still broad? I'm guessing so much they haven't issued a tornado warning, but we will inspect the storms here. Yeah, the only area that I see any rotation really right now is the Dardanelle area, which actually had hail earlier, quarter size, and Plainview. Those are the two main areas with rotation. Then back over near Tulsa, we have a little bit of rotation, but it's more straight line winds going toward Muskogee. All right. Thank you, Mons, for the $5 super chat as well. Kent City, Michigan here. How's Kent County gonna fare? Let me figure out where that is. You're gonna probably see 8 to 14 inches of snow there. 10 to 15 actually, sorry. My prediction here specifically was 10 to 15 in the north of Grand Rapids area. Let me draw it out. So this area entirely, I was thinking about 10 to 15 inches of snow. Maybe a little bit further up to the north. I would exclude like this area here, shade that out, but basically anywhere in that area, 10 to 15 inches. After the lake effect snow is all said and done, you'll probably get an additional like 6 to 12. That'll be over the span of multiple days. Again, I appreciate the generosity. We are now 196 subscribers from 90,000. We are inching closer. Again, if you've not already, make sure to subscribe to the page. We're almost at 90,000 subscribers. That would be crazy to hit if we hit it tonight. Again, it's free to do. Click the red button down below and subscribe. South Bend, Indiana. South Bend will probably be in the ballpark of 3 to 6. 4 to 8 is what the National Weather Service says, but I think it'll be 3 to 6. Again, pretty similar overall. I mean, 4 to 8, 3 to 6 are very similar ballparks. But I think it's going to be more of a dominant rain there, and it'll probably be a bit more of a slushy snow, to be honest. By the way, there's a chance that central northern Alabama, central northern Mississippi see a coating to an inch of snow early next week. Not certain, but it is possible. Just keep that in mind. It's going, Connie. Just started back up yesterday, so it's going to be very stressful next 4 months. And for those that are new to the channel, I run a Facebook page called North Texas Weather Center. That's very active right now since there's a chance for ice on Sunday and Monday with the Arctic blast. So I post on there like every hour. I've begun to do TikTok recently. Again, all these links are in the description if you want to follow any of them. TikTok we started doing more recently. We're a little over 10,000 followers on there now. But more than anything, we're just doing like short little weather forecasts. We obviously do YouTube nationwide weather here on the Max Velocity channel. We do a lot of things. I'm in college full time. There's a lot of things that go on. And so, you know, as much as I love to live stream super often, it is not very easy with how many things I'm doing. So I'll throw that out there. This is not a easy sort of thing because I have so many things going on. Like, you know, I do a lot of things. I'm the only person that does it all. It's not like I have employees or anything. So it is very, very busy. It's fun. It's a very stressful sort of thing because you're doing a lot of things. Thank you, Dakota, for the $2 super chat. What weather in Clarksville area? What Clarksville are you talking about, Dakota? You don't have to super chat again. Just put it in chat. There's more than one Clarksville, so just want to make sure we're on the same page. The one I was thinking about was Tennessee. Indianapolis probably will not see any flight delays Saturday. You might see a few from the winds, but purely from snow and stuff, I wouldn't expect it. Thank you again for the $2 super chat. Tennessee, Clarksville, it's mostly going to be rain tomorrow. You might get a couple of storms in the late morning. Here's the future radar. This is 6. This is 9. Again, a few storms near Nashville. There will be a little line going through, but I think most of this activity will be non-severe. If there are any severe storms in this area, we're talking isolated damaging winds, maybe some isolated quarter-sized hail. That's about it. Tucker, by the way, you're good. You don't have to be here any longer. I appreciate your help. What about Melissa, Texas? Ashton, I recommend you going over to my Facebook page, North Texas Weather Center. I've done some detailed things on that over there. But Melissa could either see some snow on Sunday, potentially even a little bit of ice accumulation. It's going to be really on the fringe there. So stay tuned. If you follow us on Facebook on North Texas Weather Center, link in the description, by the way. I'm posting updates on there very frequently, so you'll have more details on that. But I will have a video forecast more specifically on that Saturday morning or Friday tomorrow afternoon. Or Flying Fences Friday. We have Flying Fences Friday tomorrow. We have Suspicious Storms Saturday. Or sorry, Scary Storm Saturday is Saturday. Then we have Suspicious Storms Sunday on Sunday. Tossing Trampolines on Tacos Tuesday. Wacky Weather Wednesday, Tossing Trampolines on Tall Trees Thursday. There's a lot of days. Today is Tossing Trampolines on Tall Trees Thursday. And since we are in the vibe of the trampolines, but this is the trampoline meter for tonight, or tomorrow, sorry, for the Southeast. High risk of flying trampolines. By the way, thank you, Stephanie, for the $2 super chat. Thank you for being so awesome. I appreciate the generosity. Thank you. Glad you're finding this informative, helpful, enjoyable. If you're not dealing with any of this weather, if you're over in Hawaii right now, just on the beach, relaxing, watching this live stream, laughing at everybody else that's about to see heavy snowfall, blizzards, and wind chills 70 below zero in Montana, kind of wish I was there. Friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. We are 120 subscribers now from 90,000. So if you're enjoying the content here and you want to watch more live streams like this in the future and the weather forecasts that we do on a daily basis, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Again, it's completely free to do if you're new to YouTube. Just need an account. Click the red button down below and subscribe. We might be able to hit 90,000 tonight. I think we will be able to at this rate. Say Alberta? I do not live in Canada. Canada would be worse. Western Tennessee, isolated severe weather early tomorrow morning, so be mindful of that, but otherwise I wouldn't really expect much in Tennessee. Sturgis, Kentucky for severe weather, isolated large hail, isolated damaging winds. The only concerns that I expect there, and it's a low chance in Kentucky. Thank you, DJ. Appreciate it. Problem care. Thanks, Casey. Appreciate it. West Tennessee is not going to see any snow out of this. You might see snow Sunday into Monday, and again, make sure to subscribe to the channel, have the bell icon clicked. I'll have a full video on the winter weather potential in the southern plains back into the Ohio Valley and the Southeast, either tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, I should say, or Saturday morning. I'll have a full detailed forecast on that. I think it's still too early to really talk about specifics on that. There's still too much uncertainty. Newburgh, Wisconsin. Spelt it wrong. Maybe I didn't. Oh, it's a smaller town. That is Wisconsin. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Okay. Yeah, you are having the potential for 10 to 15 inches of snow tomorrow. The further away you are from the lake, the better chance you have of that. If you're on the immediate coastline, can't stress it enough, you are talking about much lesser snowfall accumulation. Like Milwaukee, for example, if you're right there along the coast, 3 to 7 inches is the forecast from the National Weather Service instead of the 6 to 11 inches that's forecasted inland. I still think 10 to 15 inches of snow is a real possibility from Green Bay back into this area here. Very thin stretch, but I think it's a very, very possible outcome tomorrow. By the way, we officially have a tornado watch that has been issued. I do have to post this on Facebook real quickly, so just give me 1 second. There is now a tornado watch that has been issued. This is going to include areas. I have to do a little bit of multitasking here, but this is our latest tornado watch. So right here. A couple of strong tornadoes possible tonight. Scattered hail up to 2 inches in diameter is possible. And as well as scattered damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. It's actually kind of crazy to think that we are going to have the chance for snow flurries near Dallas tonight. On the flip side, there's also going to be a tornado watch. Just give me 1 second to type this out. All right. Again, this just got issued. The tornado watch is updating on the map now, so you'll have a better look at it here in a second. All right. That is posted. Snownado. There has been snownados in North Texas before. Back in 2021 when we had the big, like, 150-hour just being below freezing event. It was almost that long. There was actually a couple of snownados reported, which is a very rare weather phenomenon. There was a couple of those in North Texas. Thank you, Nancy, for becoming a minimum velocity member. I appreciate it. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you very much. Tornado watch has now been issued for Southwest Arkansas, Northwest Louisiana, as well as Southeast Oklahoma and parts of Eastern North Texas and Northeast Texas. A snownado is like a tornado, but with snow. It does not cause damage typically. They're very weak, but they spin up sometimes from the winds rotating. Tornado watch is now it's issued for this entire area. It's just updating. Again, Central Arkansas included in this, Western Arkansas, all these areas included in the tornado watch. Izzy, 8 to 4, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. is the time frame tomorrow for Alabama in general. Friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are 52 subscribers from the big 90,000 subscribers. And if you have not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's that red button down below. It is free to do. And yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning into the live stream tonight. It's kind of crazy to think, guys. I mean, when you think about it, North Texas is going to be seeing... This is the list of things that North Texas could see over the next 7 days. Okay, let me just go to my list here. I actually made a list of this. Just give me 1 second. Possible in North Texas over the next 5 days: tornadoes, damaging winds, hail, high temperatures in the 70s, which happened today, snow, freezing rain, ice, wind chills below 0 degrees, pipe bursting cold temperatures, toilet paper going out of stock, and potentially some aliens. That's the long list of things that North Texas could see over the next 5 days. It is a massive list. It's crazy how, I mean, even over the next, like, actually, it's more like the next 4 days. I mean, it's a pretty short time frame, but it's unbelievable. I can see so many things in the next, like, 5 days. Complete transformation of weather, almost summer to horrible winter, basically, for North Texas standards. %40 chance of strong tornadoes. Let me check the Storm Prediction Center here. I'll check the probabilities. So the probabilities tonight of all this stuff, probability of 2 or more tornadoes in this tornado watch is 50%. Probability of 1 or more strong tornadoes is 40%. So just kind of for reference. Again, probabilities are kind of, in my opinion, sort of meaningless. Like, in the sense of you should really pay attention to them. Those statistical values really should not be the determination between you having ways to receive alerts and being mindful of the weather tonight and not, if you know what I mean. So just be weather aware, have multiple ways to receive alerts regardless. But right now, not seeing really much rotation. It's mostly damaging winds at this current time, but the tornado risk will likely start to ramp up here over the next few hours. So it's going to be, again, a nocturnal threat. And winds are going through the Muskogee area right now. Not expecting any tornado threat there to evolve. It's pretty much done there. Cold air's rushing in there after this. We are 5 subscribers from 90,000. Just 5. I think we'll hit it. 5 away. Brandon, there is a low threat of severe weather tomorrow. Isolated damaging winds, isolated tornado threat in northern Georgia. That'll be primarily after 10 a.m. all the way through about 5 p.m. But it probably won't be until like 12 to 5. So during the afternoon. And further reminder, we are currently using the Radar Omega app here on the live stream. Again, you can access everything that you need in a weather app, including the computer models, the satellite. There's tons of options in that department. You can customize the radar, the map, everything. Again, you can make it your own radar, basically. They have a bunch of these. They have a lot of live cams on here. So like this is like Iowa right now, an iced over lake. There's a couple of snowflakes flying. You really can't see them. There was a couple there a second ago. But yeah, again, there's a bunch of live cams on here called the Cyclone Ports. It's a whole project that they have. They have a ton of them down here in the Dixie Alley and the southern Ohio Valley. But again, if you want to check this out, it's the top link in the description below. You can download this app on iOS and Android. Again, that is Radar Omega. And again, I appreciate them sponsoring today's live stream. And we have now officially hit 90 1,000 subscribers, which is crazy to think. I really cannot believe that. I really do appreciate everybody's support. Literally, I don't know really how to thank you guys, but it's really unbelievable how much we've grown since really any time before. Really, ever since 2021, I mean, or 2022, we've just grown so much on this page. I mean, we went nationwide on the YouTube channel back in May of 2022, and over the last year and a half, we've gone from maybe 1,000 subscribers to 90,000, which is just a number that I literally never imagined. And I'm not lying about that. Like, I literally never imagined this channel getting anywhere past like 2,000 subscribers. I'm not even kidding. Like, I really couldn't have believed it if anything else happened. I don't really know how it's happened. I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think. It's weird to think. It's weird to think that I have 2,600 people watching me right now here on YouTube. It just feels weird. It's just something that I never really expected. The only place I expected that was when I was on a news station like 2 years from now. But really, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate all the support and the generosity that you guys have, the super chats, just subscribing to the channel in general, liking the streams, watching videos on a daily basis, whatever it might be. I really do appreciate you guys a lot. It goes a long way. And also all of our members that make all this stuff possible. I really do appreciate all of you. I really do. It's crazy to think. I don't want to tear up, but I really do appreciate your support. And we're only 10,000 away now from one of those, you know, the big plaques that you get from YouTube, which is also really crazy to think. So I do appreciate you guys' support. I really do. Yeah, every one of those. I mean, we could basically fill up an entire football stadium with the amount of subscribers that we have, which is just, again, crazy to think. The other thing that's crazy to think is that this month alone, which this month has not been very long, by the way, we're 10 days into the month, or 11, technically now. So far, we've already had 800, or actually, including this live stream, we've had over 1 million views on this channel just this month. Which I've been doing double video uploads for the most part, multiple days, so that might have done it. But it's crazy to think that over 1 million people have now seen these videos in the past 10 days or 11 days. It's just, again, it's something that I never imagined. And I don't, it's not to like brag or anything. It's just simply that I never thought that that would even be possible. Like, I remember live streaming in front of 10 people back in mid 2022. And it just started to grow and grow and grow. There was one stream that I got to like 1,000 viewers concurrently. I was like, holy cow. It's like, wow. And then, I mean, even by the end of the year, when Hurricane Ian happened, we got to 5,000 concurrent at one point. And more recently with Adalia, we got to like 10,000. It's just unbelievable. It really is just so weird. But I really do appreciate it. And it's really good practice too for whenever I ever do go to be on the news station sometime or whatever. Crazy times. That's all I've got to say. Thank you, Scotty, for the $2 super chat. Central California, appreciate it too. I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't really forecast California very often. I kind of wish I did more, but the weather's not usually that crazy there. It's usually pretty quiet. But sometimes you get some of those bomb cyclones like last winter. Will be the lowest recorded temperature from this Arctic blast. Montana will probably take the cake with that, probably around 30 degrees below zero, maybe 40 degrees below zero for the actual temperature. Wind chills will get down to like 70 below zero. It's going to get really cold. Detroit getting snow. Detroit will probably get a little bit of snow, but it's not going to be much. It'll be like an inch at most, which I'm pretty sure there's no snow on the ground right now, right? Yeah, I'm not seeing really any snow on the ground there. Here's the Kalamazoo Radar Omega cyclone port. You can actually see the snow on the ground here. which they are prepping for more than just a couple inches. They're looking at like 6 to 12 tomorrow in the Kalamazoo area. It's gonna get pretty crazy there. Sitting here in eastern Tennessee waiting for the snow. Well, I have bad news for you. The only time you might see snow would be like Monday or Tuesday. It's a pretty low chance though. It's relatively low. You know what I should do? I just kind of thought of this. I don't know if anybody would be on board with this idea, but making t-shirts or something for every single day, like tossing trampolines on tall trees Tuesday, or tossing trampolines on tacos Tuesday for Tuesday, wacky weather Wednesday, tossing trampolines on tall trees Thursday, flying fences Friday. Would anybody buy those? I'm just kind of curious. I just kind of thought of it because we do these, we have all these custom days. Mesoscale Madness Monday. That's not a very popular one according to chat, but thank you, Scotty, for becoming a minimum velocity member. I appreciate that a lot. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you very much. I was actually thinking about doing dual streams on both YouTube and TikTok at some point, but we actually do have a Tossing Trampolines t-shirt on the website, and we have a few other, we have like a mug and a sticker to go along with it. So if you ever want a Home of the Flying Trampolines t-shirt, this is going to be around for a while, but we have multiple different colors. It comes in black, blue, green, and all that. You can pick it up on shopmaxvelocity.net. I'll leave the link in the description. We also have some of these Supercell hats. We have the mug as well. So if you ever want to check these out, more affordable option obviously is the mug. We also have a sticker, which is like really cheap. You basically just pay for shipping. I'll put the link in the chat in case you are interested in getting one of those t-shirts. Again, we just released them literally last week. So the Flying Trampoline merch is back. By the way, the Flying Trampoline merch we had back in the summer, but it was a different design. We do have a new design though. That's the revamped design. I don't want the t-shirt. I want that neon sign behind you. This neon sign is actually on Amazon. Let me find it. I think I can find it here. If I find it, I'll send you the link in the chat. Problem is I don't know which one it exactly was. I think it was this one. Yeah, it's this one. Was it this? No, it's not this one. I'd have to look. It looks like daytime with how the lighting is. I have two very bright lights, one right here and one right here. If you go to my Twitter page, there's a photo somewhere that actually shows the lighting and how the setup looks. These are two very bright lights. They don't bother me really, but like more than anything, they're just bright. So yeah, again, they are fairly bright. All right, here's the link in the chat. This is a similar one. It's not the exact same, but it's pretty much the same thing. So if you want the light behind me, this is a pretty similar one. Are the storms busting? I mean, this isn't like a bust setup yet. We haven't really seen much yet. Most of these the severe storms really aren't expected until like after midnight, but we could see an isolated tornado out of this too. We'll have to wait and see. I think more than anything, we're going to be watching for the storms developing after midnight, and that's where the threat would come from. What happened to the stuffed bear that's behind you? That's a great question. I actually don't know where that went. It was there one day, and I don't know where it went. I don't know where it went, actually. No clue. The blizzard in Iowa is going to be historic. It is a once-in-a-decade type blizzard that's going to be happening up here. That's according to the National Weather Service. So, if you notice this here, they had it somewhere. Maybe they removed those details. They removed those details. They actually updated the blizzard warning, so it no longer says that, but they basically said that this will be like a once-in-a-lifetime type blizzard up in the Iowa area. So, travel impacts are going to be major across this entire state pretty much. So, I don't recommend traveling tomorrow. Thank you, Ash Alicia. I need to pronounce your name right. Thank you, Alicia, for the $9.99. I appreciate the generosity. Thank you. I will be talking about Houston in my next video forecast. So that'll probably be tomorrow afternoon. I'm not going to talk about it tonight because there's just not enough certainty about that ice snow event. I want to wait till tomorrow to actually forecast it because the only forecast that I could even put out right now about that is the one that I made on Facebook for North Texas Weather Center, and that's this. So this is basically it right now. But it's really too early to tell down there, in my opinion. I think we gotta wait till tomorrow and see how things ramp, or basically go, because this bomb cyclone is really the reason why there's some trouble. I think it has something to do with the overall trend of what will happen with that system on Sunday and Monday. Thank you, Brittany, for the $4.99. What should I expect tomorrow in Clarksville, Tennessee? Clarksville, Tennessee will probably be seeing storms between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Wind gusts will probably be around 30 to 45. I don't anticipate much severe weather there. I think it'll be a low threat. Low threat. And thank you, Clay, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for the generosity. Kaufman County is under the tornado watch. I don't think you'll see strong tornadoes here, honestly. Have a way to receive alerts if you're in Kaufman County. I think, honestly, the threat of severe weather is going to be a bit further over to your east in terms of the tornado risk. I think you still have a chance, though, of isolated damaging winds and large hail. No updates on the European model. I think the GFS model might have had a run. Yeah, the GFS model is going through right now. The only reason why I would look at the GFS model at this point would be for the southern plains, to be honest. And it's showing mostly snow right now in Texas. This is the latest GFS model run, in case you're curious. So snow in Arkansas. This is Sunday night, Monday morning here, maybe some freezing rain. I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be a close call whether we see ice or snow in North Texas, or if we see both. It's a very big question right now. Big question. Depends on the timing of this, too. The NAM model doesn't really have much until Monday morning. That would probably lead to more snow. If that happens in North Texas, it would be more of a snow event if we saw this happen Monday morning. I think that's it for these models. The European model is still on the 18Z. We can look at the 18Z real quick. Yeah, it still shows the freezing rain and the snow Monday morning. Again, something I'll be discussing more in detail going into tomorrow's forecast. Thank you, Joseph, for the $5 super chat. I'm in Milwaukee, within a 1/4 of mile radius of the lake. You think the lake will have a positive or negative impact on how much snow we receive? Yes, it will. If you're in that area, you're going to see a lot less snow. I think you're going to probably see, I don't remember what the total was up here, 3 to 7. That's what the National Weather Service is saying. So if you're right there, even a 1/4 mile within, it'll probably be 3 to 6. That would be my expectation there, since you're right there along the coast. If you're a bit further inland, even like 5-10 miles inland, you're going to see more like 6 to 12 plus. Some areas could see an isolated 15-inch amount of snow. Thank you, Gaming Guru, for the $5 super chat. Just discovered you. Well, that's awesome. Fort Wayne, Indiana. We are on the border. Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne is going to see probably around 2 to 4 inches of snow. That's my forecast. And that'll primarily be from the backside of the low pressure system going into late Friday night and Saturday morning. But there might be a little bit initially tomorrow. Like morning. Am I thinking for northern Van Wert County, Ohio? Thank you again, Eagles fan, for the $5 super chat. I wish you luck in the playoffs. Van Wert probably will not see much. I think more than anything, you might get a coating, maybe an inch. Let me go to the HRR and check it out. I haven't really looked specifically at this area because it's kind of on the cusp here. Mostly rain, mostly rain, mostly rain. The only time you'd get snow would be overnight, Friday night to Saturday morning. There'd be some flurries or light snow. It'll lead to no more than like an inch of snow. How many screens or windows do I have open right now? I have about 50 tabs open total, but I'm only using Radar Omega for the most part. But the other tabs are not being utilized. Thank you, Izzy, for the $5 super chat. Look up James Spann. I know who James Spann is. I'm very, very familiar with him. Very. He's a fantastic meteorologist. He's definitely a top 2 in terms of my meteorologists. My number 1 favorite meteorologist is actually Harvey Leonard. Some of you might know him if you live in New England. Many of you probably don't. But he is basically who I grew up watching. And yeah, he's a person that I idol. I've shadowed him before at the WCVB studios and stuff. He's for the most part retired now. He's working like very minimally right now, but yeah, it's always a pleasure watching him. Northwest Alabama tornadoes tomorrow. Right now it's a low to medium chance. Again, there will probably at least be a few tornadoes across the southeast. You definitely have a chance there in Northwest Alabama. Northwest Indiana snowfall totals. This is the HRR model, putting it in perspective. And again, I agree a lot with what the HRR model is putting out at this point, but 3 to 6 inches is for the most part in Northwest Indiana. Areas near Fort Wayne, 2 to 4 inches. Indianapolis might get it coating to an inch on the backside of this low pressure system late Friday night to Saturday morning. From that cold air advection, that's about it. I got both of those super chats. I'm good. Yes, they already lowered the threat for tornadoes tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a small 10% hatch somewhere, but we'll see. I don't see why they would, but I also don't see why they wouldn't. Kind of a little weird situation. And mainly due to the fact, I think really more than anything, the environment's there when it comes to the low-level jet. It's going to be cranking in the southeast tomorrow. The one question mark that remains is the moisture in the lower levels and the instability. Those are both going to be pretty low tomorrow. If those are in the medium to high category tomorrow, that's a full-blown outbreak. But I don't think that's going to happen by any means. I don't think we're going to have that happen. So that's what we're looking at for tomorrow. Florida, mainly damaging winds, Chris. That'd be during the afternoon and evening. If you're in the Panhandle, Panhandle is the only exception. There might be a couple of tornadoes there. Yeah, there is a tornado watch. Again, I will not be covering this. I was not specifically live for this. I cannot stay up that late tonight. I have to get up early tomorrow, but there is a tornado watch until 4 a.m. Central Time for central, western, and southern Arkansas, back into northwest Louisiana, and as well as northeast Texas. Will Houston get freezing rain or ice on the 15th? Again, it is too early to tell. I will have a full video, though, on this specific discussion, because we've had a lot of questions about it. I will have a video on this either tomorrow evening or Saturday morning, if there will be ice or whatever in the south, like the southern plains in the southeast, and snow. I'll do a full forecast on that. That needs a dedicated forecast, and it also needs more certainty. There just is not enough certainty right now to be able to predict that accurately. It'd be more of like a guess at this point. Kalamazoo will probably be about 6 to 12. The Muskogee area, there's nothing really happening here. Most of the storms are moving out. There's a severe thunderstorm warning up here to the north. There is some strong rotation actually north of the Greene County Estates area. So if you're in this area, I would probably go to your safe place. We actually could get a tornado out of that. Yeah, right over the top, Tahlequah area. I'm saying the name right. There is a little bit of rotation. Now it's weaker. Bare minimum, we have high winds, though. This is upwards of 60 to 70 mile per hour damaging winds ripping through parts of eastern Oklahoma at this hour. That'll be going toward the northwest quadrant of the state, where Springdale, Rogers, and Bella Vista is. In those areas, by the way, tomorrow morning, we'll have the chance for snow. Crazy to think that you're looking at severe weather and then perhaps some snow in the morning. Just crazy stuff. Yes, Michelle, I did. Yeah, we did that. We did hit 90,000, I think, 20 minutes ago? Maybe half an hour ago now. Yes, tonight's risk of severe weather is primarily here across... wait, 1 second. Let me just check this real quick. We have some rotation near the Perryville area. This live cam is actually right on this severe storm. Or non-severe storm, but some rotation there. There's a little bit of rotation going toward Perryville. So there might end up being... Might be able to see something here. It's nighttime, so it's a bit harder to see. Overall threat tonight, though, is damaging winds with maybe an isolated or a couple tornadoes. A couple tornadoes could be strong. A few tornadoes are possible tonight. Again, that's primarily Arkansas, northeast Texas, eastern Oklahoma, northern Louisiana. And those are some very bright flashes of lightning. Holy cow. But that's what we're looking at for tonight. Mainly damaging winds and a few tornadoes. Could see a little bit of large hail as well out of the initial storms. Up to 2 inches in diameter. These are some seriously bright flashes of lightning here. The camera's actually shaking right now. This is where the rotation is. Right here. It's literally going over the live cam, I think, as we speak, or it's about to be. I don't want to watch this because it actually could happen. Might be able to see something. Thank you, Cooking, for the $4.99 super chat. What are the storm totals for south central Wisconsin? Most of those areas will see between 6 to 12. There will be a few isolated locations near 15 inches of snow. That starts tomorrow morning and will go all the way through Saturday morning. Dallas overnight probably won't see much. Again, isolated storm between like now and 1 a.m. and that's it. I don't think you'll see any severe weather there. If you do, it's going to be very, very minimal, like damaging winds. We are currently looking at Perryville, Arkansas. There is rotation over this radar, or over this cyclone port on radar Omega. So I'm just kind of seeing if we get any view on any like wall cloud or anything. It's hard to see at night, but we might be able to see something. There's a lot of bright flashes of lightning. There's 60 people on Radar Omega watching this right now. And by the way, if you want access to all these Cyclone Port, the live cams that they have on Radar Omega, you download the app on your iOS and Android device with the top link in the description below. It's $8.99, but it's the best $8.99 that you'll spend on any weather app. It is a fantastic app. I cannot recommend it enough. Has the live radar feed, has satellite data. You can customize the radar. You can look at all these live cams. There's a ton of stuff. Make sure to check it out. Top link in the description below. Next radar scan should be coming in here in a second. Just did. All right. Yeah, the rotation's like right here. I'm not sure what direction this live cam is looking, but it's literally over top right now. You can see the wind actually going, or the rain, excuse me, going sidewards. I don't know what direction this is looking, though. Thank you, RC, for the 199 is Harrison, Michigan, and the Winter Storm track. If you're anywhere in Michigan, you are going to at least see something. Snow, but Harrison, Michigan. Yes, you're going to see 10 to 15 inches of snow. That's my forecast. I'm not seeing anything. And this is the rotation. There's a little, it's not strong or tight or anything, but there's definitely notable rotation there. But yeah, I'm not seeing any definitive views here of anything in particular. I don't know what direction these clouds are moving. That's the other thing. I'm going to try to see when it flashes lightning. See if I can get any idea on that. I think we're looking northeast. I think that is where we're looking. But I could be wrong. The wind is picking up now. Yeah, I think this is looking northeast. Looking west? Yes, I was completely wrong. Does it say it on here somewhere? Well, look at this. The wind is really picking up. Okay, I'm going to stay on this for now. It's getting pretty intense. Holy cow. I mean, these winds are probably in the ballpark of 60. Yeah, this is some extreme wind right here. Something in the lightning. You're talking about the top left. It's hard to see now. We're obviously in the thick of the rain. You can see it here. The rain is, I mean, it's going left to right here. It is seriously dragging down this way. And that's representative of high winds for sure. Wow. Jeez, look at that lightning. This is intense. Yeah, this is Perryville, Arkansas. Intense thunderstorm here. Yeah, this is a pretty intense spot to be. Yeah, this is basically in the rotation. It's next to it at least. So I don't see any changing of directions with the rain and which way it's going. I think we're on the northern side of the rotation where the winds are going. Oh, I mean, this is insane. I'd look at the radar, but I don't want to stay on this. I think it's going south. We're looking west. This is north. So it'd be going south to north. It'd be a southerly wind. Might be going southerly. But I haven't seen any change in wind direction at this point, so I don't think we're actually in it, but we were close to it. A lot of lightning with these storms, by the way. A lot. Yeah, this is going to get tornado warned. That's going to get tornado warned. This is going toward Conway. If that rotation continues, it's going to get tornado warned. Some really strong rotation. Right in Perryville. What do you think about Greenville, South Carolina tomorrow? You really probably won't see much. Again, isolated damaging winds would be the main concern. Go back to this live cam here. Again, I'm really not doing severe weather coverage tonight. I will for the time being, but I am not gonna be able to go up like super late here. Apparently my buttons don't want to work. I'll just go with that. Connor is not live. Let me take that off. We do not have that many warnings. We have like 2 or 3. Yeah, right over Perryville right now. I'm honestly a bit surprised this is not tornado warned yet. I'm going to take a really quick bathroom break, like 60 seconds, and I'll be back in a minute. That if case this does go tornado warned, I'll be right back. All right, there you go. So there is a tornado warning on the storm. This is issued for Conway, Arkansas. I came out at a perfect time. Sorry. Tornado warning for Conway, Bigelow area, east of Perry. Again, seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible. This is quite strong rotation. The latest scan is a little bit weaker. But again, if you are in this tornado warning, definitely seek shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. This also includes Houston, Arkansas. This is northwest of Little Rock for reference. This is the, I'm gonna put up the live cam here. Don't know where to put this. Here, maybe? Put it there. So again, this tornado warning includes Conway, Arkansas, near Mayflower, Arkansas, back into the Bigelow area, east of Perry, Houston, Arkansas, included in this tornado warning. Again, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building if you are included in this tornado warning. Yeah, this had a serious hook echo a couple minutes ago. And this gives you the idea of the potential of these storms tonight. Very favorable environment. You can kind of see it there. But the last scan on the velocities looked way better. This like scan that just happened doesn't look nearly as appealing. When it comes to the potential of this being like a tornado on the ground, it looks a little bit weaker. But obviously, stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible if you are in this tornado warning. And this could drop a tornado at any time. Again, this is northwest of Little Rock. This is the first tornado warning of probably many tonight across Arkansas, as well as Texas, eastern Oklahoma, northern Louisiana, all in that potential. Yeah, if you're confused on where the rotation is, it is right here. It's near 66. It's going east-northeast, but it could change directions in this pink polygon. This is really the only area of rotation that I see here. Might be like a little kink up to the north, but there's not really anything up there. This is the main area of rotation that I've seen on the radar here. I'm going to stay on this and look in a second to see if there's anything else outside of this. Just in case. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it. The flashes on the camera are likely just lightning. There's been a lot of flashes on there. Yeah, that rotation's gone. That was very strong there for a brief time. There might have been a brief tornado there. There is still a little bit of rotation, but it's not much. It's right here. It's that little area near Houston. So there is still some rotation. There is potential still, but I think the chance of it producing is a little bit lower. But I would still stay in your safe place just in case it does drop a tornado. Let me go further down here to the south, check the other storms out a little bit, just for those that are in other areas. Not really concerned with these storms right now, back near Hot Springs. And the ones in Oklahoma, I'm also not concerned about at this time. Mostly a wind threat, with maybe a little bit of isolated large hail. And Texas right now, not seeing anything quite yet. So yeah, this is really the only storm right now that has any chance of producing. Blizzard warning was lifted. I don't know what we're talking about. I would be surprised if we got a couple of those blizzard warnings in parts of the Midwest tomorrow, like in northern Illinois. I don't think Chicago will be in the blizzard warning. I think it's like a 40% chance. I think it's kind of on the lower side. But maybe like just west of there, like the northern counties of Illinois, just west, maybe. That looked like a QLCS tornado. I mean, there might have been a brief tornado here. We had no confirmation via the correlation coefficient, but sometimes these tornadoes are so brief that they just happen in between radar scans. And we just got a new radar update, so that should update here in a moment. Here's the latest radar scan. Looks weaker than before. Continuing to see a weakening trend on the velocities. There's still a little bit near the Bigelow area. Let me check the correlation. Yeah, nothing. So, I mean, the rotation right now is right here, and it's kind of in an awkward spot. It's kind of getting wrapped around by the other winds. And, you know, with this environment, it's entirely possible to drop something, but I think it's kind of losing its opportunity. It might have already dropped something near like Sweet Home in Houston, but back near Plumerville as well, there's some wind there. I'm not seeing any rotation. Hot Springs area, I'm not really seeing anything that's standing out to me right now, but I think really more than anything, this is the main storm, which is again just west of Conway, Arkansas. But it is a rain. It's obviously nighttime, so if we do have a tornado, it's going to be rain wrapped. Don't try to look outside for it. Stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. There is some small hail being reported near Plumerville, by the way. So if you're in that area, there is a little bit of hail falling there. Thank you, Kale, for the 199. I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate the generosity. Tornadoes in northwest Louisiana tonight. Northwest Louisiana, there is a risk there. It probably won't materialize at all until after midnight, but yes, there is a chance between about midnight and 5 or so. Give or take an hour or two on that. Have multiple ways to receive alerts. Have a tornado action plan in place just in case. Just in case there's anything that gets out of hand there. Matthew, Matt, 6 to 12. 6 to 12 inches for Chicago area. I've explained it a few times, like how you get 6 or how you get 12, like differences. But mainly the difference would be where that rain snow line is. If you get some rain tomorrow around lunchtime for a little while, I think it's going to be closer to 6. I think it'll be closer to 12 if you don't get really any rain at all and it stays purely snow. Thanks, American. I appreciate it. Yeah, latest radar scan, losing the rotation. Maybe a little bit up here. Doesn't really look like much. We'll have to look at the next reflectivity scan here. I think this rotation's weakening. I'm not going to be doing severe weather coverage for very long. That was not the intention of this live stream, and I really cannot go that late tonight, but I am at least live for the time being. I will music, don't worry. I'm staying hydrated. New severe thunderstorm warning for Plummerville that has just been issued. I believe this is going to be for hail. Quarter-sized hail, probably. That's going to include Worcester and Greenbrier. So a little bit of hail possible there. Again, the live cam is in Perryville. It's now behind this storm that is tornado warned. So we no longer have a view of that. Quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds there. Lots of lightning, by the way, with these storms. Didn't even know there was severe weather today. It has been a topic of discussion for quite a while. I've been talking about it in every video and live stream that we've had recently, too. It's very similar to what we just saw a few days ago. There's some differences, but they're similar areas, at least, in terms of the threat. It's all basically from Arkansas, East Texas, East Oklahoma, back into the southeast, including Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, that sort of thing. I appreciate it, Claire. I'm glad you enjoy it, at least. I know California weather can be kind of boring. Again, tornado warning still ongoing if you're in the Conway area near Mayflower. Again, not nearly as much rotation as before. There was more rotation approximately, like, again, 5-7 minutes ago. There might have been a brief tornado. We don't have anything really now. It's more straight line winds, but I would still stay in your safe place just in case something tries to develop here. And, yeah, that's really the main area I'd be looking at. Again, a little bit of large hail possible near Plummerville, Arkansas, going through Enola. Thank you, Ray, for the $2 super chat. Do you think it'll be bad in Van Zant County, Texas? Probably not. I would say the main concern there will be damaging winds, maybe an isolated tornado threat, but it's going to be low. That will not happen until probably... It probably won't happen until at least after midnight. Between midnight and about 3 in the morning is your timing. Yeah, check Twitter and see if we have any other updates. This is a time lapse from what we just saw of this tornado warning cell on the Radar Omega app. Let me start from the beginning, but you can see this is what we were watching a few minutes ago with this tornado warning cell. You can see how much rain's falling, the sidewards rain, all the flashes of lightning and whatnot. Just kind of an interesting little perspective. Again, that's the cyclone port on Radar Omega. That's what we were watching a few minutes ago. It was pretty intense. It's now just straight up rain in that particular area near Perryville. Still a lot of lightning though in Perryville, even though the storm is well past Perryville. Let's look at the distance here. Perryville is 12 miles away and there's still a ton of lightning. There's actually another storm right there behind it, so you kind of see the lightning strikes in here as well. I don't know if the Perryville camera just went out. I think it did. I think lightning might have knocked out power in Perryville because the camera just went off. Not really a camera we needed right now because the storm's now passed, but we're using it when the tornado, like the rotation was right over top. No problem, Chad. Appreciate you tuning in. Tornado warning has now been condensed. It only includes Conway and northern side of Mayfield in, or sorry, Mayflower in Arkansas here. Just got updated a moment ago. And not really seeing nearly as much rotation as before. We had a little bit more a moment ago. It might try to recycle, but might actually try to recycle there. Yeah, go back up here real quick. I'm not really seeing anything in particular with the cluster of storms up here. It's kind of interesting. This person, I can't remember his name, but he made like a website that kind of shows you like the real-time probabilities of tornadoes. So it's kind of an interesting tool. And it does show that like far northwestern Arkansas there has like a high probability of seeing something, but I don't really see much in that line of storms right now. Gaming Guru, the reason why these radar scans are all different times is because they're all different radar sites. They spin at different times. They're in different cycles. Some National Weather Service radar sites go every like 2 minutes. Some go every 10 minutes. Just depends on the day and it depends on what's happening. I mean, in this case, it's every 3 minutes pretty often because we have severe weather. But if it's like a normal day with sunshine, they're going to run like every 10 minutes usually. They're not very frequent. Save electricity, basically. Tornado warning will go for another 8 minutes, so until 11 o'clock Central Time. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. It's a pretty large one. This will go all the way until 11:30 Central Time for Hot Springs, areas surrounding it through Mayflower, just west of Little Rock. This is mainly for damaging winds. Up to 60 miles per hour and quarter-sized hail. That is the main concern with this. And tornado warning still ongoing for about 7 more minutes. If you're currently in the Bell Corner area, Gold Creek, Conway, Mayflower, I would still stay in your safe place, at least for the time being. Thanks, Broken. I appreciate it. I'm glad I can help you out, Kimberly. I'm glad that my voice is calming during these times. Tornado warning still ongoing for 6.5 more minutes. Rotation, if there's any left, it's going to be right here. And again, it's not very impressive. It was more impressive back when it was near Perryville. The Perryville site, by the way, is officially gone out. We do have a confirmed wind gust of 60 miles per hour from a trained spotter in downtown Perryville. So this is confirmed to produce 60 mile per hour winds. Whether it produced a tornado, we'll probably not know until at least tomorrow, or if we hear any damage reports. But again, if there was a tornado, it was very brief. I mean, we're talking in between radar scans, no more than 3 minutes long. Look over here. The tornado warning is going for about 5.5 more minutes. I don't think we're going to get anything out of this, but we're not going to get anything out of it. So the tornado warning has been canceled. All right, so that's done. We're back to severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, I wasn't expecting to be live for a tornado warning tonight, but it kind of came out of nowhere. We still have 4 severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing, 1 in northwest Arkansas and east-northeastern parts of Oklahoma. We have actually 4 now across central parts of Arkansas, so there's 5. That's what we're looking at this point. Again, I do expect a few more tornadoes tonight. Might see a couple of strong tornadoes, so definitely have a tornado action plan in place just in case we do end up getting a few tornadoes tonight. Alrighty. Again, if you're new here to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. Again, we do live streams and videos like this all the time. Wasn't really our main intent to be going live for severe weather, but we're doing more of a forecast and answering questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. We'll still be covering this in case anything does end up happening here for at least the next little while. No problem, Lolly. But yeah, there's no longer a tornado warning here. Still have some straight line damaging winds between the Twin Groves, Arkansas area back west of Little Rock. But again, I'm not seeing any rotation here. It's all straight line winds for the time being. Yeah. All straight line winds for the time being here. I must be tired. I've been here a long time. 3-hour live stream is not long. It's 4 hours is usually my average, I think. Forecast live streams, this is a long live stream for a forecast. I usually only have them about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, but we had some severe weather come up. So I'm not really doing anything right now between now and like next 15 to 20 minutes. So I will be at least live here for a little bit longer, see what happens. If there are any more tornado warnings here. But again, if you have any questions about the winter storm, anything like that, feel free to leave those in the chat. And again, if you have a question that you think might have already been answered in this live stream, go back to the very beginning of the live stream. We were talking all about the winter storm, for the most part, for the first like half an hour. So, and if you want a forecast that's condensed about this winter storm, you can watch my video from like 3:30 today, Central Time. It was like, I don't know, 6 hours ago, 7 hours ago. You can check that out. And again, this will be going down as a historic winter storm for sure, just with how this is all going to play out. It's definitely going to be one of the more historic ones because of it being a bomb cyclone. It'll make it interesting. What will I do when I reach 100,000 subs? I have not even thought about it, to be honest. If anybody has any ideas, feel free to let me know in chat or email me, message me. We're on Discord. We're on all sorts of things. We have a Discord server, we have Twitter, all that sort of stuff. I'll put the links to that in the chat. This is all the links to everything, so if you want to follow us on other platforms, links in the chat. Discord, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everything's on there. What is more likely to you, rain, snow, or all snow in Chicago? I think it'll be rain, snow, to be honest. So I think we'll probably be closer to like 6 to 8 inches in Chicago. But again, there's still a little chance that it's all snow. Fairly possible. Davenport, when it'll start snowing, you will not see snow until probably about 3 or 4. There's a little bit of snow down in the Burlington area. Let's go to the computer models here. Actually, you might see some by around 1. It's a little bit behind, but I think about maybe about 1 or 2 is when it'll start snowing, so it'll be a couple hours for that particular area. Yeah, the sirens are probably still going off in Conway. There was a tornado warning. They also might still go off because of damaging winds. That's entirely possible. That sometimes does happen. So just keep that in mind. But all straight line damaging winds right now. I don't really see any rotation in particular with this area of storms. Just do some giveaways. That'd be just the easiest way to go. I don't want to do giveaways. I feel like that's kind of lame. I feel like everybody does that stuff. Like the lottery. You have like a 1 in a million chance of winning anyways. The only way that Chicago would be basically all snow would be if the low pressure system took a more easterly track, like over here. Most computer models have it like right in this area, which would probably allow for at least a little bit of warm air to kind of usher in, and that would lead to a little bit of rain for at least some part of the lunchtime, frame. Lunchtime frame. The lunchtime hours in those areas. No blizzard warnings have been added anywhere, by the way, just an FYI. Yeah, only blizzard warnings we have are in very far northern Wisconsin, and then like the entire state of Iowa is also included in that. No severe weather in Illinois. If you're in like the very far southern part of the state, you might get a thunderstorm, but there won't be tornadoes. It's not warm enough. Not enough moisture. People love free stuff. I know people love free stuff, but like, I don't even know what I would give away. Probably just do like weather radios or something like that. I know, Guy. I know you've been here forever. I appreciate you being here for almost 2 years. Pretty crazy. St. Louis will be mainly rain, Tierra. Maybe a little bit of snow on the backside of the low, like tomorrow, just after lunchtime, but I wouldn't get your hopes up about it. It's not going to be anything that's going to cause many impacts. It'd be like flurries to the inch of snow at most. Nothing happening tonight in Houston. Nope. You are good. Oh, my merch? I could do giveaways with my merch. That's definitely in play. Maybe. Just check the rotation again here. Yeah, I don't really see much rotation. I mean, east of Conway, there might be a little bit of something, but I don't really see much right now. And then back up here to the north, on the cluster of storms, we unfortunately don't have a great radar site for this. Maybe Fort Smith will be a bit better. That's actually way better. Yeah, I don't see much rotation up here either. It's mainly a damaging wind threat up to 60 miles per hour. The Little Rock area, I'd be mindful, damaging winds likely here in the next couple of hours. Here in Little Rock specifically. Cells popping up in front of Little Rock are not concerning right now. Just little showers. Elevated showers. 100,000 Jeopardy style live stream with tornado and weather related stuff. That'd actually be pretty interesting. Thank you, Air, for the $2 super chat. I have the same cloud LED light from behind you. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I don't even know really the link to it. I found the link on Amazon, but it wasn't the exact one. But it's a pretty cool light. I like it. Nothing popping up in North Texas yet. We'll probably see a little bit of something pop up here pretty soon. Currently raining right now, or drizzling back over in Century, or the Graham area of Wichita, just south of Wichita Falls. Is it really still 63 there, or is that temperature wrong? I feel like it should be colder than that. Maybe it's not. Okay, never mind. It's definitely 63. The cold front actually is still back just west of Wichita Falls as of 10 p.m. So it should be going through Wichita Falls here shortly. So yeah, there's a chance for a few flurries tonight in North Texas. Temperatures are going to drop off that dramatically. Tornado sirens freak me out. Yeah, tornado sirens are definitely scary when you hear them, and they just kind of jump scare you out of nowhere, you know? So, but I mean, I've heard them a few times in my life. They don't really scare me, mostly because I have my phone all the time, and if I ever get a tornado warning, I will 100% know that there's a tornado ongoing. So, I've already been in one tornado warning to start out 2024, fun fact. And more to come, obviously. All right, give me 1 second. I gotta type something. All right, let's go back to here. Everyone should have a weather radio. You don't really need one everywhere. If you're in like a prone area to severe weather, it's always a great idea to have one. But I mean, if you're like, I don't know, in Montana or something, I mean, you're not really going to need one. Unless you want it for like the, you know, the wind chill warnings and, you know, when it gets cold and that sort of thing. But even then, I don't think it's that necessary. I think it's more necessary if you're in like the Dixie Alley, the Tornado Alley, that sort of thing. Even the Midwest, it's not that idea. Glad you enjoy it, Nancy. Glad you enjoy the coverage. Remember the winter storm from February 22nd, 2023? I believe so. I'm trying to think back. I'm trying to think back. Let me look. Guessing I was live for it. Oh, yeah, that was the Midwest one. Okay, I was about to say, I think that was the Midwest one. Yeah, I remember that. I mean, that was a pretty big one, too. That was another big winter storm that we had. That was late February. That had ice with it and everything. The Byglow, Arkansas area has pea-sized tail. Thank you, Aaron, for the report. Just hit my microphone. Wyoming wind chills could get down like sub 50 below zero. Like 50 below zero is possible in Wyoming. It's going to get cold there. It depends on where you are in Wyoming, though. It might not be as cold. I don't exactly know. Let me look. I'm pretty sure it's going to get down there for much of the state, though. Yeah, it'll be 50 below zero in Casper. The Cheyenne area will be 45 degrees below zero Saturday morning. Gillette will be 70 degrees below zero for the wind chill specifically, not the actual temperatures. Torrington, 47 degrees below zero. Rock Springs will be 16 degrees below zero, a little bit of an improvement. So it's going to be pretty cold there in Wyoming. But yeah, that's what we're looking at there. I'm in 7th grade and I want to pursue weather. How would I progress? If you're in 7th grade, I mean, really just keeping up with being, you know, doing well in school is really the biggest thing right now for you. There isn't really, there's stuff to learn in 7th grade that you can learn about weather online and stuff. Like, I mean, you know, just watching YouTube videos about weather, those can usually be pretty good, depending on the YouTuber, right? I mean, if it's somebody that's doesn't know what they're talking about, it's different. But if it's like a meteorologist or something that knows what they're talking about, giving detailed explanations, which is a big thing in meteorology, that's really the best way to go at your age. I don't think you should be trying to go after college classes at this point. I think it's too early for that. But if you want to learn more about meteorology, I think that's a great way to go. I went to a summer camp for like college students and high school students when I was only 10, and I got accepted into it. I was the first ever to be like 10 years old to go into it. And I met a bunch of meteorologists doing that. I learned a bunch of stuff about maps and made my own green screen forecast. And if you're a member of our channel, by the way, you can watch that video. It's in the playlist tab for members only videos. But That was one of the biggest ways initially how I really got into weather. And I mean, I got into weather when I was 3. I'd be watching the Weather Channel instead of cartoons. That's literally how I was when I was 3 years old and 4 years old. I'd watch weather. And out of all the things, weather instead of watching SpongeBob SquarePants. So it was very interesting back then, for sure. But yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad idea too. There might be some local events in your area too that might include meteorologists, and you might be able to meet them. Sometimes can be a good way too. Any rotation in Conway? I don't believe so. Yeah, all this is straight line winds right now. There's not really any rotation here. But yeah, it's all straight line winds right now with these storms. I'm not seeing any rotation. Got some more storms firing up back here. I think we got a couple now trying to fire up in Texas. We'll see if those kind of progress or not. Yes, there is a chance for a couple of strong tornadoes tonight. It's possible. Not guaranteed, but it is a possibility. All right. Strong tornadoes where? The chance for strong tornadoes tonight is across this tornado watch. So this goes until 4 a.m. tonight. It goes from just east of DFW back into southwest and central Arkansas, and as well as southeast Oklahoma and northwest parts of Louisiana. I think the main concern, if we do get strong tornadoes, will be like right in this area here. Let me redraw that circle. Right in this area here. I think that'll be the prime area. But we could still get a couple, maybe an isolated strong tornado outside of there. But I think this will be the main area. Even then, there's still a chance of tornadoes outside of this tornado watch. It's just a lower probability overall. That's what we're looking at for tonight. We've been live for almost 3.5 hours. Crazy stuff. I need new color tables. I kind of like the color tables that I have. Always open to suggestions. Open to suggestions, though. Always open to it. The nice thing with Radar Omega, too, is that you can customize the color tables. Which I already done that. Again, we are using Radar Omega. We've been using it this entire live stream. If you want to check it out, it has computer models, satellite imagery, live radar data, cyclone ports, which are those live cams that we've been using a little bit here in this live stream. You can check all that stuff out with the Radar Omega app. That is the top link in the description below. It's on iOS and Android. I appreciate Radar Omega for sponsoring today's live stream. It's up the page a lot. By the way, damage report out of Harris Break, Arkansas. Multiple trees were blown down. This is either from straight line winds or it's from a possible brief tornado. We'll probably know more about that tomorrow. Rockwell, Texas. I don't think Rockwell is going to see much. Again, downburst damaging winds possible. Maybe isolated large hail, but I think Rockwell is... You're in the tornado watch, but it's hard to kind of say, but I think you're going to probably just get damaging winds or hail if you see a severe storm. I think there's a better chance, like right out here, if a storm forms like right here, for example, which they probably will form like right in this area, they're going to move east into this area and probably produce possibly a tornado as they move east. I think there's a better chance as we go a bit further to the east in this tornado watch. You're like right on the cusp of it, so... Damaging winds are going to be rolling through Little Rock here momentarily. Yeah, I think overall the main tornado risk is going to probably be back down here near Texarkana, like in the vicinity. There is a growing storm relativisticity values there. Around 500 actually right now. That's pretty intense. The surface base instability is up to 1,000 joules per kilogram too. Yeah, we're getting some pretty favorable environment right in here. So if any cells do form and fire up in here, this will be the area to watch for. Not a question mark. This will be the area to watch for the greatest tornado risk in my opinion. So basically from Sulphur Springs back into Texarkana and then back into the Hope area, Camden and Hot Springs. Just south and west there of Little Rock. Even though Little Rock is still in that threat. I think the greatest tornado risk will be right in here. What is the pink on the left side of the screen? Not sure what we're looking at. If you're talking about what I'm looking at right now, that's the tornado watch that's in effect. I'll be talking more about San Antonio, Texas, and anywhere down there in the south tomorrow night's forecast or Saturday's forecast, one of the two. I'll be talking about that potential for a snow and ice event more in detail once we have more certainty. Dylan, I will try to figure out how to attach a link to download the color table whenever I get the chance. But I do not have it on hand. It's custom made. It's not like one you can just find. I custom made it. New damage report coming out of areas in the Toad Suck area. That is an interesting name. West of Conway. This is multiple trees blown down. Tree reported on a house in the Allen Point Road area. So that's the latest damage report out of Toad Suck. Yeah, just west of Conway. Okay, that's a name that I've never heard of before. Don't apologize for laughing. That all right. My apologies. I'm not very mature, I guess. All right. How's it going, Scott? New severe thunderstorm warning for Heber Springs, Rosebud, the Pain Burn area, Searcy, and Bald Knob. This is for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, as well as the potential for some quarter-sized hail. There is a tornado possible label on this. Not really seeing much rotation here, but it'd probably be right up in here. Here, 25. It's nothing crazy right now. Toad Suck is very close to me. Very scary. That's interesting. There's a lot of interesting town names out there, believe it or not. That's one of the more interesting ones I've seen in Arkansas, though. Mayflower rotation, maybe a little bit, but it's actually cyclonic, and it's not much. Yeah, it's really not much at this point. It's very minimal. It's more of just, again, straight line winds across much of this area right now. A little bit of rotation near Rosebud, but it's not much. Been to Toadsuck, decent community. Thank you for your experience. Wait, let me actually zoom in on this. I mean, what even is this? I'm like genuinely curious. There's like two places here. Is it just like a little community? You got two places next to each other. Is that an actual town? It is. It has to have a small population, right? Population is 288. This website that I just looked up on Google says, this is what it says on Google. Surprisingly, Arkansas has the only known toadsuck in America. What? What? Population of 288. You have a toadsuck ferry, a toadsuck park, and a toadsuck lock and dam. Okay. I am not researching that place again. I probably won't ever be there. So, but interesting. How is it surprising, though? That should not be surprising whatsoever. Any rotation in all of Arkansas? I've repeated it a few times, but no, we really don't have much right now. There is probably rotation, like a little bit higher up into the clouds, but like what we're seeing here are the velocities. There isn't much. It's all straight line winds. Only area with maybe a little bit is back up here near Rosebud, but it's still not very impressive. You walk into? I couldn't tell you. Oh, there was some damage reported in Toadsuck. This is how it all started. Multiple trees blown down. A tree was reported on a house in Allen Point Road. So, very interesting times. All right, we're done with this conversation. I can't keep laughing about it. I'm trying to actually talk about weather here. All right. Yeah, if you're in the Cape Girardeau area, you are fine. Just have ways to receive alerts. I mean, you really won't see any severe weather. It's gonna be very isolated if you see anything. Tonight, you're not even in a severe weather threat tonight. There's just some thunderstorms. Tomorrow, you're not in it either. You might get a thunderstorm, but I don't think you'll get anything severe. If you do, it'll be isolated damaging winds, and it's a low threat up there. 9100 without power in Arkansas. Thank you for the report. There's a lot of places that I've heard of that I just would have never figured existed in the United States. There's a lot of interesting town names. A lot. That's such a good laugh in a while. Yeah, I mean that kind of came out of the blue. I again would have never known that there was a place called that. New severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, further up here to the north for southwest Missouri. A little heads up. And I'm not seeing anything else in here right now. Yeah, it's just mostly damaging winds right now. You have a whole festival? Are you actually from the Toadsuck community, Brian? Are you from that area? Apparently there was a reported tornado earlier in the Tahlequah area, but I'm not entirely sure about that. I just saw somebody say that in chat. It was from earlier, it wouldn't be now. I'm just gonna look. If there was a report, it obviously hasn't gone through the National Weather Service yet. I don't see anything on here. Ignore that for now. Eric says, I can confirm that there is indeed a Toadsuck Festival in Conway, Arkansas. Well, what exactly does this festival entail? I'm just curious. I really do not understand this at all. It's in Conway, okay. So what does this entail? No, Matt. Toad races? They do that? Toad races? Might have to go to Conway sometime. The kids collect toads and race them. This is so weird. It's a completely different thing that I've never heard of in my life. Well, you learn something new every day. That's what I'll say. So going. Arkansas might be my favorite state now. This is interesting. I mean, is that all the is that like literally it for the festival? Is it just that? By the way, some hail is coming toward Little Rock. If you are in Little Rock, damaging winds and some quarter-sized hail is approaching. These winds could actually be upwards of 70 miles per hour. No rotation right now, at least in the lower levels. And same thing with Rosebud. Still some damaging winds and hail. I am not seeing really any rotation, though, right now. It's pretty minimal. But still stay weather aware. There could be a tornado warning with this at some point down the road. It'd be really in here near Rosebud. It's just one toad race and that's it. This toad race must go on for like a few hours, right? What? Oh my goodness, I don't even know what... Yeah, this is getting very weird. You think it'll snow tomorrow for San Antonio, Texas? No, not tomorrow. If there's any snow or freezing rain, it will not be until Sunday or Monday. Food, music, rides, and crafts. Okay, that's at least there's more than just the toads, because I was about to say that's a very one-track sort of festival if we just have toad racing. There's a narrator for the race. I've got to see this. This has to be on YouTube, right? I gotta watch this after the stream. I mean, there's literally a thing called Toad Suck Races. They have like a little football field looking mat and they race on it. They have it in Conway. I mean, this is an actual thing. I kind of thought it was not real. It's an actual thing. You learn something new every day. That's just shocking. I will have to watch that after the stream. There's actually videos that are 12 years old on YouTube. Hot Springs, Arkansas, if you're in that area, again, you're seeing a couple storms right now, but they're not severe. A better chance of severe weather will be overnight tonight. Again, there's going to be another round of storms. I don't feel like getting copyright striked. I don't want to play the video. Thank you. New severe thunderstorm warning now for Little Rock. This is going to be for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, and as well as quarter-sized hail. This includes Cabot as well, Lone Oak. Yeah, this will be mainly for damaging winds and quarter-sized hail. Yeah, toad racing, I'm going to have to look into. It's very interesting. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Chicago will probably see around 6 to 10 inches of snow. Again, isolated 12 to 14 as possible. I'm kind of on the 6 to 12 line still, but like, I don't know. I'm kind of on the middle there for Chicago. But it's gonna be pretty heavy, and it's gonna be windy, so blizzard conditions are possible there. Laughing so hard my mascara is running down my cheeks. That is impressive, all because of Toad Suck Races. Butterbean Festival, Peanut Festival. Very interesting stuff. All right, let me just zoom out real quick. No new warnings or anything like that right now in the Midwest or anything like that. Yeah, no new watches or warnings issued. No blizzard warnings, still the same thing as before. Yeah, if there's any blizzard warnings that get added, it'll be tomorrow morning. All right. check a few things. All right. Conway, it's right here. It's this area. There's a tornado warning in central Arkansas. I don't think there is right now. I'll double check. There was one earlier, for the record. Yeah, there's not one right now issued. And there's really not much rotation on any of these storms right now, so I wouldn't see why there would be one. Maybe a little bit near Heber Springs, but that'd be about it. Yeah, there's actually a little hookup on this one, but it's not much, just a little bit. Not very organized yet. We'll see if that evolves down the road. There's also hail going toward Little Rock. There's probably at least quarter-sized hail embedded in that thunderstorm there, just west of Little Rock. That's going to go right into Little Rock. This is not really the main event. The main event is not going to be until probably at least another hour from now. It's going to begin down in Texas, and we'll be watching storms in this area here for the greatest tornado risk. It's where really the greatest, the best environment basically is for tornadoes. I just realized I haven't eaten dinner yet, and it's currently midnight. Good times. Heber Springs, thank you. Sydney, Australia. Nice. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, go back to the beginning of this live stream. I talked about that more in depth. This live stream is supposed to be like an hour and a half long. It's turned into almost 4 hours. Thank you, by the way, for everybody subscribing tonight. We've gained like 2,000 subscribers, I think, in this live stream, which is just insane. Do appreciate everybody subscribing to the channel. Again, we'll be doing more live streams, obviously, like this in the future. We always do. Yeah, we've gained almost 3,000 subscribers tonight. Holy cow. We were 87,800 to go in today. That's actually crazy. Holy cow. We hit 90,000 tonight, so that's a pretty big milestone, which, again, crazy to think. But I do really appreciate everybody's support. Also, everybody liking the stream and all that. And again, this live stream is not meant to be this long, but we're still here. I cannot stay on for the main event. The worst is not going to really start until like at least an hour from now or so. And I'm just not going to be able to. I have to get up early tomorrow. And I don't know if I'll be live tomorrow. I'll be honest with you. If I go live, it will start around 4 Eastern, 3 Central. And if we do go live, we'll have Connor Croft with us storm chasing alongside on our live stream. That's if we go live. I don't know if we will. I would say we probably won't be. If we don't go live, I will be having a video around 5 or so tomorrow. Probably. Not guaranteed, though. But we will see. Again, I'm not entirely sure if we'll go live tomorrow, but best thing to do if you want to see a live stream tomorrow, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and it's free to do. The right button down below and click the bell icon so you're notified if we do end up going live, which again is entirely possible. We will see, though. I'm not 100% sure. I have a busy schedule tomorrow. But that's going to do it for tonight's stream. Again, I've been going for almost 4 hours now, and I'm still a little bit sick with a cold anyways, so I'm glad I got this streaming, guys. I really didn't think I was actually going to make it through the stream, just simply due to the fact I had that issue yesterday. And, I mean, we're good now, but just more about the cold and whatnot. But I do appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the stream if you enjoyed it, found it informative, anything like that. If you did something as simple as liking the stream or subscribing today, I really do appreciate you a lot. If you did any super chatting today, if you became a new member today, I really appreciate you as well. Helps the page out a ton. And one last reminder that today's live stream was brought to you by Radar Omega. And again, I cannot stress enough that this app is really the best weather app that you can get on your iOS and Android device. You can get it with the top link in the description below on iOS and Android. So if you want to download that on the way out, go for it. It's the top link in the description below, iOS and Android. I appreciate them sponsoring today's stream. Again, it's the best $8.99 you'll spend on a weather app. It is fantastic. Has everything that you need from computer models to satellite to radar, everything. So if you want to check that out, again, top link in the description below. And again, I appreciate everybody tuning in today. Friendly reminder, if you want to pick up one of our Flying Trampoline t-shirts, we just released these on the shopmaxvelocity.net website. So if you want to check these out, again, this is what it looks like. Home of the Flying Trampolines. We got all sorts of different colors. The blue looks really cool as well. We have multiple colors though, 2 different shirts, and we also have down here the mug and the sticker for the Flying Trampoline. So if you want to check that out, again, shopmaxvelocity.net. All those links are in the description below. If you want to follow us on other platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, blah, 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 blah. I have a link tree in the link I will post in the chat as well. If you want to follow us other places, I post on Twitter quite often, so all that's going to be in the description as well. Again, if you're anywhere in these severe storms tonight, make sure that you have multiple ways to receive alerts. Have a tornado action plan in place, just in case any of these storms do end up producing a tornado. The one near Little Rock right now looks pretty nasty with the hail threat and damaging winds, but I don't see much rotation on this yet. We'll watch, well, obviously, as Moose East, they'll watch it and see if they have to put any warnings on it, but that is it for the live stream. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a great, safe rest of your night, guys. Thank you all for watching. This is a much longer live stream than I expected. If you are in the blizzard tomorrow, stay safe, stay warm. It's going to be cold the next few days. Again, if I'm not live tomorrow, I'll have a video probably tomorrow afternoon, if not Saturday morning. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys all watching. See you guys.